Hello and welcome to DCP Live, episode number 218. Welcome back, TrueVanguard TV.
Hey,
T-Von.
it's good to be here. That's me.
We're all coming out of the smoky haze of Night City, where
That's right.
Yep.
where the character customization has certain endowments and katanas exist.
That's right.
I don't use guns anymore. It is true.
Same. I expect all for blade and body, so I have a lot of health and I cut people with swords. It's just that's the way to play now.
Yep.
A lot of health and you cut people. T-Von, you nasty,
Yeah.
man.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
How's everybody doing this week? I guess that.
I'm doing great.
I think we're,
There it is.
I think we're doing good.
I think a lot of us are probably just sort of like, oh, I don't know if you guys are like me right now, but my brain just like is fried because it's like there's so much happening with all the next gen stuff.
There's a lot
Yeah.
The
happening.
Cyberpunk stuff coming out. I'm also still trying to play through Valhalla and while playing through Cyberpunk while
Oh,
enjoying
boy.
the next gen updates for Destiny 2. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just so much.
Did you
The
think
next gen update for Destiny 2 is kind of fantastic.
It
Oh, it's
really
incredible.
is. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A
Did you
whole
think?
new world.
Did you think you were going to finish Valhalla by the time Cyberpunk came out?
I was delusional. I kind of thought I might make some good progress. But
Yeah. How many hours do you have in that game?
in Valhalla,
Yeah.
I think I'm up to about 22-ish. I'm somewhere around there.
And
Oh.
what's the average like time to complete? It's like 80, right?
Is it really?
Well, and I am not a straight through kind of guy. Like I
Oh,
get to
no.
a new region, I'm like, there's a ton of things on my map, and it's triggering me. I have to go do all those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So while I have a lot of time in, well, relatively, I feel like I have a good start on it. I'm not very far. So I'm
I
like,
knew
oh,
it.
what's this?
See, I knew after playing Odyssey, I was like, Valhalla is going to have to wait because I'm sure that's going to be like a 60 to 80 hour excursion.
It's a long game.
I think it's longer than Odyssey.
It is.
Wow.
Yeah.
They said
Yeah.
that's going to be shorter the next one. We've heard your calls for being shorter.
And then they took down that tweet.
They took down that tweet because it is a lie.
It is not true.
Oh man. Yeah. It's been. I feel you, TV. It's been one of those like seasons of constantly like playing catch up, just across the board. Once you finish one thing, you're like, oh, now it's onto this. Now it's onto this. Now it's onto that. You know, like just there's always
Yeah,
something
even-
cooking.
Even when you think you have a plan, there'll be something that comes out that you didn't know was coming out, or it comes out and it's like this sleeper hit, and you're like, well, crap. Now I want to play this thing.
Have you
Right?
played
Yeah.
Phoenix Rising?
I haven't.
No,
played
that's
that, but
on
I've
my
seen-
short
yeah,
list.
That's a
short
sleeper.
list.
That's like the
It is.
sleeper, you know.
Yeah.
It is.
I kind of wish I had bought that instead of Odyssey, to be honest with you, because I think it's going to be more interesting in the long run.
Then
Yeah.
Valhalla? Oh,
No,
no,
then-
no, I get what you're saying.
Then Valhalla. Yeah, that's what. Too many. Yeah,
Too many Greek themed something or others.
sure. I do want to bring it back to Destiny because I do
Of
want
course.
to talk about the next gen update. The next
Yeah.
gen update.
Yeah.
I downloaded it. Did it come out on what was the 8th?
Tuesday?
Was Tuesday.
Yeah.
We
I
had a lot
downloaded it
happen.
on the Xbox 4 and the PS5, and it is revolutionary. Like it is. There's not a real reason, in my opinion, unless you want mouse and keyboard controls, to play it on PC over playing on the console at this point. Like it's so good.
Yeah, it's a great implementation. Like
Yeah.
the main thing that I noticed that is different is that like in PvE, I can basically get over 100 FPS a lot of the times. You know, not always. Like
Yeah.
you go behind that freaking church in EDZ, it's always tanking frames, but
Yeah.
majority across the board, you can get over 100 FPS in a lot of places in Destiny. And aside from that, like it's a great Destiny experience. I was surprised it went up to 105 field of view. I didn't think they were going to
Yeah.
crank it all the way up
Because
there.
they were like, we're trying to get it as close as possible. It makes me wonder if they didn't know how much they were going to bump it until
Mhm.
pretty late in the game. Because they're like, we're going to
Sure.
try and get it as close to PC as possible. And it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
A wider field of view is more taxing, right? It's like it's
Yeah.
going to drop frame
yeah.
rates the wider you go. But yeah, I mean, it looks and feels like the PC experience now. I mean, it's not running at 100 FPS, but it is running at 60, and it's a smooth at 60. And in the Crucible, it's running at 120.
Yeah,
And
if you can support it, yeah.
And it is, I mean, it is really nice looking at 120 FPS in the Crucible.
Yeah.
I only jumped in for 2 games on just to like look around and see what it looked like. But man, it's pretty convincing. Like it's a really good new version of Destiny 2, you know?
It's really good. It makes me so happy because, like, you know, console players have been playing this other version of Destiny for so long. And now, of course, not everyone has the next gen consoles right now, but eventually people will start switching over. And if you're a console player, you are basically having the PC experience at this point.
Like, if
It's
you,
crazy.
No, go for TV.
I was just say it's crazy to think about when D2 launched and people were disappointed to see that it was going to remain 30 frames per second on console back then. To think that players were disappointed back then, but they've stayed committed through all of this time. You know what I'm saying? So it has been a long time coming. It really has been a long time coming, and it is really fantastic. It's a wonderful experience. It runs very smoothly, very stable, and you know, I was worried about that. I don't know if that was a reasonable concern to have, but I was worried that performance was going to fluctuate. But it is constant.
Yeah, no, that's reasonable. Definitely reasonable to worry about that for sure. Yeah,
at 4K too.
Yeah.
Like it's really a solid.
That's
experience.
impressive. Yeah. It's like it's finally happened. You know, the console experience has got this incredible version of Destiny, and I've been wanting this for the community for so long. To like ever since I got a PC version and got to play Destiny on PC, I was like, oh my god, this is it right here. And now it's finally happened for consoles. And I know it's very difficult to get a new console right now. So if you're still looking for a PS5 or an Xbox 4, as Briar calls it, you know, good luck. And hopefully your luck.
I feel like it's a good name, it being the 4th Xbox.
It is a good name. It's very clear.
In fact, better than I think what Microsoft did.
Yeah, I don't even know what the real name is now, to be honest. I have no idea.
You got the 1X, you got the 1, you got the Series
X,
S,
the 1.
Freaking, yeah.
And so it's like we said, unless you really enjoy playing M&K and that's your thing, especially for PvP, when 2021 comes and they have the DDoS protection, the same stuff that's on Steam, there's no point really doing PvP on PC at that point. You get to avoid all the nasty stuff.
Yeah.
And you get your 120 FPS.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
It really is incredible.
In the living room on your couch.
Yeah.
At 105 field of view.
I'm really interested to see how that changes the ratio in the player population and where they choose to call home. So that's going to be one thing that I'm going to keep my eye on, is just to see how those numbers change and adjust. Are you going to see a really big transition for a lot of players to come from PC back to the next gen consoles and continue their Destiny experience there with cross save? I think you might. I know personally a lot of people who already have made that transition. Like now that I can do, now that I can do all this stuff on next gen consoles, I would prefer to play over there. And I totally understand that.
It's available on Game Pass too on the Xbox side.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Yeah,
great
so
deal.
it's like free Destiny. You got to pay for the season pass, I think, and that's it.
That's right.
Yeah,
it's a really nice experience. You know, I do wish on the PlayStation 5 side they had integrated some of the haptic feedback and some of the trigger stuff that they have on that controller, because that stuff does
insane.
Yeah, stuff does add a lot of immersion to video games. And you know, if you don't like it, you can always turn it off. But I really like it. Like the games I've been playing on the PlayStation 5, Call of Duty, Demon's Souls has a bit of it. Like a bunch of the games that have implemented it, even when it's subtle, like it just adds that extra level of polish to a game. I'd love to see them, you know, even if they can't do it right now, to add that in the future, because a large portion of their player base is on the PlayStation.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see that too. It's an amazing experience. I'm really happy that it finally has happened, and it seems to be pretty smooth as well. Like it didn't seem like
it's great.
Broke anything relatively major with them updating to next gen. Yeah, like there's no reason at this point. Like if you've been holding out, you're not sure if it would be better. with next gen, it absolutely is a great upgrade.
It's very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Load times are comparable to PC. Like I went back and forth
Yep.
from PS5 to PC, and I was like, "There's really no difference at this
Yeah.
point. There's really not."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only problem with PS5 right now is that there's no paddle support for any controllers yet. You just have to
Correct.
use the PS5 controller.
Life's hard.
Yeah.
Isn't Battle? Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Battle Beaver like slated to have theirs done before the end of the year?
Oh wow.
End of
I
really?
don't know. Actually.
Yeah, it's quick.
I could be wrong, but I thought Battle
I-
Beaver was already on it.
I know Scuf also has an announcement this month sometime, so I think it shouldn't be too long until we start seeing these controllers coming out.
Yeah, they'll get them out fast. I'd like
Oh,
to
yeah.
see that PlayStation adapter that we saw for the DualShock 4.
Mm-hmm.
Like right at the end of the life of the PlayStation 4, they released that little adapter that plugs into your PlayStation and adds back buttons.
Mhm.
Like I was kind of surprised that wasn't a feature like right at the get go, but it'd be nice if they added that because that's like a $30 solution as opposed to like a $200 solution.
Yeah. Or do you
Sure.
think a PlayStation Pro controller could ever happen?
I would love a PlayStation 4 Pro controller, like to rival the Elite controller on Xbox, because I love the Elite controller. But
Same.
now, to be honest with you, the Xbox controller feels a little old and not
Does it?
cool anymore. Yeah, it
No,
doesn't
it's
do
not
any of the
cool.
cool stuff anymore.
I don't
Like,
want
it
to
doesn't-
play with you anymore.
It doesn't have force feedback, and it doesn't have like the HD rumble.
I
like
mean,
it
aside,
It
does
doesn't have 8K rumble in it, Tefty. What are you gonna
8K
do?
rumble.
8K rumble.
aside from the rumble, I still think this is a phenomenal controller. I mean, like the things just pop right off if you want to adjust them. You know, like little magnets. You know, it's
I agree.
Feels
I
great,
agree. It's a
too.
great controller.
the battery lasts
But
for like
man,
a
I
week.
really like the DualSense. Yeah, the DualSense lasts almost 2 hours.
I
Well,
saw
you're-
some people were saying that like sometimes they get like 4 or 5 hours or 6 hours on it. I think
Yeah.
there's a pretty wide variance of battery quality from those PS5 controllers.
Mm.
I think there's a wide variance in how much it gets charged every time you plug it into the console
Yeah.
and charge it.
That could
Because
be too.
My
Yeah.
controller has lasted for all day, and other times I've taken it out off the charger, played for like 2 hours. It's like, hey, you got to charge this thing.
I'm averaging about 9 hours of gameplay before it'll tell me you need to charge.
9
And
hours?
I've been playing on my PS5 since I got it basically every day.
Did you get like
Uh,
the battery
I
lottery?
get through. I'll do a full 8-hour session and not have the notification come up once because I'm live streaming the whole time. Because what I do is I'll plug it in overnight, right? And then when I come down here, I'll unplug it and then I'll plug in a USB mic so I can talk to my teammates and not use the same mic that I use for stream. And I never get the prompt. I never get the prompt for a whole 8-hour session.
Wow. Yeah, I think something's wrong with my battery. Right?
Do you have the a randomize in chat saying, do you have the mute muted on the front? The mic muted? Did I say mute mic it? What did I just
Mute.
say?
Right. I
The
mean, yeah, the
mute-mited?
DualSense has that. So this is a really, it's a good question. It's really cool. The DualSense mic mute button works for any USB mic you plug into it. It's
Oh,
not
really?
just-
So
Oh.
that's
from the
amazing.
controller. So I'll
That's
plug in my
really good.
plug in a blue microphone, and I'll talk to my teammates the whole time. And anytime I want to call out anything in chat, all I do is just slide my thumb over and hit that button. It's
That's
so
really
clean.
cool. I did not
Yeah.
know that.
That is super cool.
That's really nice.
One thing I haven't figured out how to do on the PlayStation 5 is if you plug headphones directly into the controller, is an easy way to adjust the volume on the headphones, like without going into the system menu.
I don't know. I don't use headphones through the controller.
Yeah.
That
No
could,
one does.
maybe that's why my battery's lasting longer. I go through the monitor.
Yeah, I don't know. There's got to, yeah, there's definitely a wide variance happening. So something is either A, draining it faster, like maybe it is that mic,
Yeah.
or there is a quality control issue with the battery life. And there's going to be like a recall on some of these controllers.
Could be that. I'm convinced there's weird things going on with the charging itself too, because I know for a fact that sometimes when I plug it into the front USB port, it doesn't charge at all. Like it just doesn't charge. Other times it charges fully. So I thought at one point that it was fixed through like some kind of software update, but
Mhm.
apparently not.
Yeah.
So it's doing weird stuff. Now I plug it into the back of the PS5 and it seems to have no issues. I get long battery life out of it. Longish, not 9 hours, but
Interesting.
longish.
Yeah, 9 hours. My God. What are you doing? How are you making this happen? TV.
What kind of voodoo magic do you got going on over there?
Do you turn off the rumble and the adaptive triggers when you're playing on it?
No.
No, okay. So
No.
that's not
Not
it.
even turn off the rumble, dude. You got the lithium ion lottery on that one, man.
I don't know. I literally get through a whole session on stream and I don't get a notification. But I play
Elon
it
Musk's
every
gonna
night.
show up at your house looking for this battery technology that you got in your PlayStation 5 controller.
We're seasoning this.
Oh man, that's cool.
But yeah, it is super nice to be able to play on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox 4. This is the Destiny that like we were kind of hoping for, honestly, when Destiny 2 came out. When we all played on the console first. You remember when we all went to the event where the unveiling event,
the
The
Dre
LA
event?
event?
and we walk in and we play on the PlayStation first. And then we discover there's this PC room in the back, way back, and they're kind of like
Right.
only letting certain people in, but nobody was going back there, so we just kind of hustled our way in, and we saw 4K 60 FPS Destiny 2 for the first time,
Oh yeah.
and we were just like, well, looks like we're all buying PCs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
It was
saying. When I
really
first saw that, I was like, oh my god, this is the experience, and it's finally here now for console players. Like, thank
Makes
God.
me so happy.
Yeah,
Well, if you can find a PlayStation 4
yeah, that's what I'm
or a
saying.
PlayStation 5.
It's
That
going to
is the
take a
issue.
while for everyone to switch over, not just because of being able to afford it, but being able to find it. So, but if you are a Destiny player, it's 100% worth it. It's
Mhm.
such a more enjoyable experience when you can just fly to different planets and it's super fast and bring up your menu and do stuff quickly. It's,
Oh yeah, you can change
so nice.
weapons while you're playing.
Oh,
Yeah.
you can't really undersell that. Like because that's
Yeah,
as
seriously.
somebody who mains console PvP, I could never change anything before I'd spawn in and have no ammo and no like if I wanted to change anything about my grenade and anything like that. Losing all your cooldowns, losing all your ammo is such a pain in the butt.
Yeah,
And to have to take a death to switch up something in your loadout was it's so terrible. But to be able just to hit the options button, bam, mission menu, bam, 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 switch everything out, and I'm back in the fight. So nice.
yeah. Thank goodness.
So we got a ton of Destiny 2 news this week.
yeah.
Um,
Well,
Did.
before we get in the news, actually, should we talk Hawkmoon?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because Hawkmoon came out.
Hawkmoon and Iron Banner.
Hawkmoon, Iron Banner Freelance. Did everybody get Hawkmoon? I'm assuming. Maybe
Yep.
not Briar.
Correct.
No.
I thought the quest was really cool. Like it was interesting and like the lore implications and all that, and having it connected to the crow. It was really cool. I liked it.
That was great exposition. That's a great way to expand on a character that everyone seems interested in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm interested in shooting him in his head.
Well,
There's no
regardless
way.
of how you,
If you
regardless
played-
of how you-
Impossible.
regardless of how you feel about him, it was a really cool. Everyone's at least interested, and everyone. I use that term loosely. A lot of people were disappointed in the exposition we got with the hunt stuff. Right? They're like, man, there's a lot there, and we'd love to go deeper with that, but we didn't really get a lot of crow action with all that stuff. We really want more.
Yeah.
And then to have this quest drop, and you get to walk a mile in his shoes and understand what his transition to being a guardian was like, and the struggles that he faced with meeting guardians, and even that desire for companionship. I don't know if he caught it. There's this whole exchange where I thought was a really touching moment for him to open up to us and talk about this experience where one guardian did actually, she kind of accepted him and even invited him to come over for a drink, essentially. And he was too nervous to show up, but he waited for her to leave, and he came back and took the bottle from what was supposed to be their sort of drink date, right? And he says, I don't even know why I did that, but it was just like he desires that companionship, someone to accept him, and I thought it was just great exposition. I
Yeah.
loved it.
It was so good. Even the lore as well that's attached to it. It talks about a guardian that punched him in the face. And he's saying that he's seen that look. He saw that look in her eyes before she did it. And she's like, it's the same look I saw in your eyes when you first saw me. I clearly did something really bad. I don't know what it is. And like seeing where he lived as well, like with that toilet.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And
Like,
just,
come on, we can upgrade you, buddy.
Sounds like he's doing better than Pope. Listen to the pre-show.
Someone in my chat called it a warlock pool. can't remember who. I was like, yeah. Oh, no, it's a toilet. Got it.
It's you get his writing and his voice acting is so good.
Yes.
He's completely different. He's gentle, he's caring. He's a different person when you hear him talk. So they've really nailed all of that.
Yeah.
So-
That's one of the highlights is like for me anyways, hearing the voice acting change. You know,
Yeah.
Brandon's done like an amazing job of that
So good.
you can definitely feel that he's lost identity, but is still that like the crow now
Yeah.
with the lineage. Yeah, really cool. Yeah, I liked it. And then we got Hawkmoon
Loved it.
after doing that quest, which actually was a pretty long quest too. I mean, not like long, but like there was a lot of steps. Normally in some of the seasonal stuff, you get like 2 or 3 quests, and some of them are just like go shoot a few targets out in the back, and you're like, okay, I
You
got an
did
exotic. It's one like you kind of had to look some stuff up if unless you were going on a investigative journey on cracking that. But so yeah, you get the Hawkmoon, and it's definitely different from D1 Hawkmoon.
Yeah, that was a big surprise with Hawkmoon. People got it, looked at it, and you can get more Hawkmoon rolls, and they will be random.
Yeah,
Randomly
that's-
rolled Hawkmoons.
Yeah, so we got a first right there in Destiny, randomly rolled exotic Hawkmoon drop. All right, that's fascinating. Also, Hawkmoon is different now. I took it to the Crucible, and I was playing on the PS5, and it felt like a D1 hand cannon to me.
It
In
feels
what way?
really
What do you mean by that?
good.
How sticky it was. And I don't know if it was because I was playing on PS5 that day and I haven't played on console in a long time or something, but it to me, it distinctively, like the base stats of the gun felt as if it was honoring its heritage from D1, because I felt like I was just landing headshots that were just like, oh, hand cannons don't really feel like this to me for most of D2, you know?
The base stats are astronomical.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're off the charts. There's no hand cannon in the game that can rival that, those stats. Ace outranges it, if I remember correctly,
Mm-hmm.
but that's literally it. I mean, it loses in basically every other category.
Yeah.
So yes, it feels very, very smooth, and that I think that alone makes it worth using. I know. I've seen really mixed reviews on the gun. I don't really play PvP. I only do PvE on PC.
Mhm.
I'll tell people that up front. I do all my PvE on PC, and then because that's where all my friends play. So when we're doing our raids and we're doing our weeklies, that's where I play. But when it comes to my daily PvP grind, I'm over on PS5, and the gun feels incredible. I will say, a lot of people on PC say it doesn't feel all that great in PvP. I can't speak to that, but I've heard that enough that I feel like there has to be some truth to
Mhm.
it.
Yeah,
But-
see, it's interesting because I was worried about how it's going to feel on a controller, because it's always sometimes it can be hit and miss of if this thing feels really smooth and sticky and awesome, or if it feels like you're kind of fighting it to make it work for you. But Hawkmoon,
Yeah.
as soon as I used it, it feels so good. It's just a really awesome feeling hand cannon. So yeah, I haven't used it in PvP with M&K, so I can't talk to that as well either. But in terms of how it feels on controller, like it's a really good feeling hand cannon, and being able to get those 1 shots or 2 taps is really fun. And in PvE, it's also useful because it does a ton of damage with that final shot.
Mhm.
So I
So-
found that it's actually really good in both places.
I
So
think
the
that's
exotic
actually-
perk is
Yeah,
different because instead of having like luck in the chamber kind of adding up at the end, this does it. It gives you a buff to damage for every headshot you get that you then can cash in with the last shot of the chamber. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so in PvP, like where would you use that? You'd have to use that. You'd have to get headshots with rounds in the clip and then kind of score a hit with that last shot.
Here's the thing with it. You don't have to be intentional about it or strategic about it or plan for it. The thing is, it just works. It really does. It just works. Every now and then you're going to be in gunfights and you're going to be going crack, 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 crack. And then suddenly a guy's going to come around the corner and you just 2-tap him. And you didn't plan for it. You weren't trying to be strategic. You just got to the bottom of your mag and you just so happened, while I was using this gun, it was actually ramping up that damage of that final shot. You don't even have to get the Cacaw. You don't have to get the 6 stacks or the 7 stacks. With 5 stacks, 4 stacks, you're going to 2-tap people and you're going to get that extra damage. It's going to get you out of sticky situations pretty frequently, I've noticed. Just just by using the gun. But here's the thing that I love about it. It can be a mini game, and you can plan for it. You can be strategic about it. I had a situation on stream yesterday, where what happened was I got in a couple of gunfights. I 3-tapped a guy. I 3-tapped another guy. And then I intentionally checked, pulled up the trackpad and checked the super status of the teams. And I was like, oh, they got an Arc Strider. They got an Arc Strider cooled down. So what I did is I tapped a guy who was just kind of running past. I normally wouldn't have taken that shot because I'm not going to get the kill. But I was like, I just need to get a quick headshot to get my 7th stack. I did that. And then I backed off and I waited for him to pop the Arc Strider and 1-tapped him. 201 to the head for a roaming super. And it dropped him in one shot. Can you imagine dropping a super with a primary one shot? Like it felt so good. And that's something that I think is just so great about it is a lot of people will undersell the perk. They'll say it's not consistently useful. It's not overwhelmingly, OP. It can't hold a candle to my Thorn build. It can't hold a candle to my spare rations. It can't hold a candle to my Ace build. And I understand that, but I really love when guns actually try to engage you on a different level than just trying to be the best thing out there in its category. And that's where the charm of Hawkmoon is. In D1, it was never the best. Even when it was good, it was underneath Last Word and Thorn during that meta. It was never even consistently used at all in PvE. So the fact that it has any PvE utility in D2 right now is actually a cherry on top. But I absolutely love the way that it engages with the player and can elicit a certain response from the player. When that happens, you're going to feel incredible about it. And to me, that's worth a 10 streak with an Ace of Spades. You know what I'm saying?
Nice. Yeah.
In terms of how it makes me feel. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It's as soon as I used it in PvP, it was like, okay, I'm getting headshots without having to super fight for it. That feels great. In PvE, you can end up doing like 77,000 damage to an enemy, which is absurd. So I feel the same way. Like Hawkmoon was never used in PvE. You just wouldn't use it. So having this option that you can take this gun, maybe you really like it, and you can use it in PvE and be effective. You can use it in PvP and be effective. I really like that. And I'm excited to see how those random rolls are going to go, what the gun's going to end up feeling like with those random rolls, and how they introduce the way for us to farm for it. Because I think that's going to make it really, really exciting to the conversation around Hawkmoon.
So let me ask you guys a question. When you get it the first time, does it drop with a random roll, or is it a fixed roll when you get it the first time from the first?
It gives you a question mark that says that it's going to have random rolls in the future somehow, which is interesting.
Okay. So,
my thing on it is, again, it fantastic base hand cannon feel. Like if you want a super solid hand cannon, albeit it's only got 8 in the magazine, and obviously you kind of need less in the magazine to take advantage of the perk, but it's also like a downfall at the same time. Only have 8 in the magazine.
With the alloy mag, you kind of make up for that, don't you? Yeah,
that's true. Yeah. But like in the middle of a gunfight, like obviously you don't want to have to suddenly have to reload just because, you know what I mean? Like it's like in this weird place of being amazing and meh at the same time. Because if you're not hitting those shots, like if you happen to miss a couple of those headshots, or if you happen to dodge reload or something, like if you reload a lot, you're never going to use that perk. You know what I mean? Like if you're dipping in and out. So you do have to be somewhat aware of the fact that reloading cancels it. And I kind of wish that they made it so you could at least swap weapons and then come back to it. Oh,
you can as long as the only time that it will dump the buff is when you're on the final round. So if you get to the final round and you've got your stacks, I did not realize that. So you can switch anytime up until then that you want to.
Yeah. But you just can't reload.
It's not exactly a Teraba situation.
Yeah, okay. Actually, I didn't realize that. I thought switching weapons canceled it out. So I was mistaken on that. Cool.
Yeah, I initially thought the same thing, and then I was like, oh wait, it doesn't get rid of it unless it's the final shot. That's great, because that means that if I need to switch to a shotgun when someone's rushing me, I can, or fusion or sniper or whatever. Because anytime there's a gun that has this really awesome perk, but you cannot switch off of it, it's always very annoying. So the fact that you can do that is definitely needed.
Yeah, it's interesting. I like it. I definitely like it. I like the quest with it. It's like you were saying, it's never really been the top pick for guns when it comes to Crucible stuff. It's great though that it does have utility across the board. You know, you can definitely play to its strengths, and it can be really strong. And that's awesome that you can actually hit 201 to a super with like did that require all shots loaded up in there?
That was a 7 stack. Yeah. So I hit every headshot before then. So it's like I said, it's not gonna happen often, but when it does, it's gonna feel really freaking good. I kind of liken it to the Zen Meteor from Destiny 1.
Yeah.
So Zen Meteor was, I mean, for being honest, that was not a good sniper rifle. I mean, it was clunky, it was big, it was good. Yeah, everything about it was bad.
It had a payoff though.
But if you could make it work, it was a mini game. And how many people had a Zen Meteor clip in their montage from D1, right?
Yeah.
Everyone had their like got all of my headshot kills and then loaded up the super bullet and just did a giant explosion. So many people had that because it was something you had to be intentional about, and it elicited a certain response out of you. It doesn't do it often, but the response it gets out of you is really, really rewarding and engaging, right? And that's where its value lies. And that's, for me, that's what Hawkmoon is right now.
Cool. I think I'm going to be more interested in trying it out in different places once random rolls kick in. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. What perk are you going to go for on it?
I think.
What's your ideal perk?
I know opening shot is one of them, right? Is it rangefinder also another one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe rangefinder. That way it's like maxing out range.
I think for me, maybe Killing Wind would be cool. I do like Killing Wind.
I'm actually gonna go for a surplus. Freaking love that perk.
Interesting.
Okay.
Because for me, I'm not having issues with the gun in terms of its range. I'm also not having issues with target acquisition. The gun's pretty generous in that capacity.
It is, yeah.
It really is.
What I really want is, can I just like crank that recoil all the way down? I mean, even with one perk or one ability on cooldown, surplus is really going to help with stability. You get stability, you get handling, and you get reload speeds. And you're talking about that issue with the 8-round mag, not liking having to reload. But
handling's huge.
It's going to give you 3 perks for the price of 1.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a good tip right there.
Our chat is going crazy because Last of Us 2 just won the game of the year. At the...
Oh, did it?
It did, yeah. I think they've won like everything that they were in a category for.
Yeah.
So it's one of those times where it's like, oh, again. Woo!
Did they win best narrative? Oh, boy.
I'm pretty sure they did.
I think they did.
Sure. I think they did, yeah.
What do you guys think about Hawkmoon being called Hawkmoon? Like it's so different from the original gun. Obviously, cosmetically, it's the same, but does it feel like the first gun? Does it earn the name?
It does the same thing, except without RNG. It gives you extra damage on a bullet, right?
Yeah.
And so it does maybe not the same thing, but it does a similar thing. I think it's certainly worthy of it. It doesn't bother me at all.
I think it's worthy of it.
RNG isn't good anyways on bullets. I always thought that was a bad. Well, certain people would disagree, and they're certainly allowed to. But I personally don't feel like RNG bullets is a good thing because it's really frustrating when you would die to, like, you go into a fight, you did everything right, and this guy just got lucky. He pulled the trigger one time, and he got a super bullet where he got both of the lucky bullets on one, and one tapped you in D1, and you can't outplay that. There's no planning for it. This one, when they have a super bullet, there's a loud cacaw. You get an audio cue. You know, I got a plan for it. It's the RNG is just completely gone. I actually think it's an improvement personally.
I'm gonna say that as soon as I heard that cacaw when you get to the final bullet, and then when you shoot the final bullet, it does it again. I was like, oh yeah, that's great.
Really cool.
I like this a lot. And then every time you kill someone with that one bullet, you have to go cacaw. It's great.
I got the cacaw. Yeah, I love that. Seeing all those tweets like, got a cacaw today. It was so
Do you think having random rolls on exotic weapons is something that should move forward? What do you think of that situation?
I was thinking about how, what else do they do to hand cannons that are exotic at this point in order to, aside from the exotic perk? And in a way, random rolls is kind of the next evolution of that. Being like, this is the first exotic that can actually have different versions of the exotic that drop for you, for a gun.
If they have random rolls, do they need to up the drop rate for exotics, or to, like, make it easier to get exotics if you're going to be hunting rolls on top of just the exotic itself?
We're assuming that this is going to be something you target farm.
Yeah.
Everyone's sort of on the same page there, that this is something that you can be intentional about. Otherwise, you're right. It would suck.
Yeah.
And I hope that this isn't like, I don't think it is, but I hope it's not like the standard moving forward. I hope this is like just something that makes the Hawkmoon experience a little different, and you have a place where you can go and try and farm for the specific role that you're after. Otherwise, I don't think it would be a good.
Yeah. I don't think, I wouldn't want to see every exotic have the random rolls, because inherently what makes an exotic different is that it's a set thing and it works together with its other perks that are on it. But I think that having, one for a Hawkmoon and then having a targeted farm to do that, and then the conversation around, oh, I got this roll, this feels really good. Oh, well, I got this one and this one's really good. I think that's really interesting. And I think that's like it's something that we'll see carry on from the Legend Lost sectors of target farming something. So I find that really interesting, but I definitely wouldn't want to see it for everything.
Yeah, I feel like looking at the gun, it's like just barely exotic. Obviously if you get a full 7 stack on that bullet for the Cacaw shot, like it's a fantastic hit, and not downing that at all. But in comparison to other stuff like Sunshot, Ace of Spades, like these are inherent exotic perks that are active all the time, or well, not all the time, but like more often than not than that final shot with the Hawkmoon. So it's almost like it's almost like a really good legendary that just barely has an exotic perk, in my opinion, with the gun. Not to say it's a bad thing, because it's still it's a great gun, but I feel like that's another reason why maybe they put in random rolls, give it a little something extra.
Maybe.
Do you want to talk about the dev update?
Yeah, this update was freaking huge.
Yeah, there is a lot here, and I think it's like overwhelmingly all good news, right?
Yeah, it was. I was like, whoa.
So I'm not going to read the whole thing. The thing is huge, but if you want to read it, they actually link to it in the first paragraph this week at Bungie. There's a lot to go over here. It's written by Joe Blackburn, the assistant game director for Destiny 2. And he talks about kind of the reactions to this kind of year. The player reaction being the initial reward pool with this release was just too small, and it's frustrating to be playing Destiny and see another player using a weapon that is no longer obtainable in the game. Which I think are two somewhat fair complaints. I agree with the first one much more than I agree with the second one. Part of being in a game like this to me is that some stuff is going to go away and you're never going to be able to get it again. That's one of the reasons to keep playing, though, isn't it? And to get there first.
No, I think there's exceptions. I think that one of the biggest complaints right now is that Felwinter's Lie is just by leaps and bounds the best shotgun in PvP, and it's not obtainable right now. So in that sense, in the PvP environment, I do get it, because it really sucks to be at a disadvantage in terms of your gear, simply because this guy was playing at a time you weren't. And while I do believe in rewarding dedicated players who have been around for a long time, I also firmly don't believe in punishing new players for being new.
Yeah. So maybe the better thing to reward players with that have been around a while is cosmetic stuff, not performance stuff.
Yeah.
So they're going on to fix this stuff, or they're making some changes. They're committing to making some big changes. With each season in year 4, Destiny 2 will grow the overall power ecosystem for weapons. With very few exceptions, all weapons you can take to the power cap should still be earnable in game, and future annual releases will contain more new weapons to collect than Beyond Light or Shadowkeep.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good.
It's great.
Yeah. In Season 13, they're adding 6 new legendary weapons to ritual activities, 2 each for Strikes, Gambit, and Crucible. In addition to the weapons above, Nightfall Strikes are getting 3 unique weapons, the Palindrome, the Swarm, and Shadow Price, all making their Destiny 2 debuts. If you're brave enough to take on Grandmaster Nightfalls, you'll also be able to earn Adept versions of these weapons. So Adept versions come into PvE as well.
Dude, I was very surprised when I read that. That I feel like we've talked about that in the past, haven't we? On the show, being like,
They mentioned it in a TWAB a while ago.
yeah, it's
They just sort of teased that idea.
Yeah, I really like that concept. I just things that you can target in Destiny are always interesting, especially if they have random rolls in there. So if you could get an adept version of a gun that you like by farming a hard activity, like that's great.
Yeah. The Palindrome and Shadow Price were two of my favorites from Destiny 1 as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, Shadow Price was a favorite. I think it was Shadow Price. Wasn't that like a Destiny 1 like
It was
Vanilla.
a launch gun.
Launch gun.
Yeah, it was
That was a
a
launch
vanilla,
gun, yeah.
vanilla auto rifle. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Palindrome, I think, didn't come till year 3, but it was a great gun, and it was a vendor gun too that was in that era when vendors got weekly refreshes.
Mhm.
That's
So you'd
right.
always go check what the roll on the Palindrome was.
Yeah, the Crucible vendor.
Palindrome was just the gun that felt so good. It was just the most consistent feeling gun for me. Like I always could rely on the Palindrome to do what I wanted it to do. So I'm
Yeah.
excited.
I'm skipping around here, but I wanted to mention this part. Is they talk specifically about trying to keep up with player demand for new content and new weapons and stuff. And they basically just say straight out, there's no way for us to make more rewards at Destiny standards and still maintain the health of our current team. Therefore, we're going to reinforce the rewards team with more talent that will allow us to deliver quality and quantity in the future. This
That's
seems awesome. You know,
Yeah,
like,
like we can't keep up, so we're hiring more people, man. We're getting more people on that team. That's great.
I just think it's
Yeah.
amazing that they were like, you know what? We didn't ship enough guns. And a lot of people in the community, myself included, I felt like there just wasn't enough drops with Beyond Light that I thought there was going to be, especially with all the sunsetting that was going on. And it's just nice to see developer feedback and be like, you know what? Yeah, there wasn't quite enough. We need more talent on that.
You're right.
Yeah. Right?
Correct.
And also, how cool is it to see? I mean, it's got to be. They have to be in a good position to be able to have the freedom to say, in 2020, we're going to hire more people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To
That
be
is
able to
amazing.
make that statement. I mean, how blessed must they be? You know, and that's a good testament to the health of the Destiny community. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm sure you guys see it all the time too. Like, Destiny's a dead game, bro. Bro,
they've been saying that for 6 years.
Definitely. Yeah.
It
Definitely.
still ain't true, man. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's
They got something.
yeah.
They got something good going at the bottom. That's the bottom line. They got something really good going. And I can say this. I'm really enjoying my experiences with some of these next gen titles right now. But one of the things that's constantly in the back of my mind is Destiny just feels so good. PvE,
It's-
PvP, doesn't matter. It's just such a
yeah.
good feeling game. The freedom of movement and the way that you can, the amount of control you have over your character.
Yeah.
Superb.
I agree.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's amazing that Bungie has confirmed our notions as player feedback and being like, you know, I think we need more drops, man. More stuff in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I like kind of this version of Bungie that is pretty honest with us, tells us exactly why what's happening is happening, how they're going to improve in the future. It's not going to be today, you know.
Mhm.
We're not exactly how we're going to do it. Like they talk about armor a little bit later in there, and it seems like they're not exactly sure what the solution is yet, but they're definitely working on it.
Yeah.
And I like that. You know, it's like I'm sure there are people out there that hold them to what they see as promises, and I'm sure they take some heat over that. But like I really believe that this version of the communication of Bungie is kind of the best for the player health, because even if I'm unhappy with what's happening right now or like a certain piece of the game, if I know that they're working on it, if I know that they're looking at ways of improving it, and I know that they're looking, you know, at the community for, you know, if not answers, like suggestions, or they're at least taking feedback, like that just makes it easier to see past flaws for me.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Mhm.
They talk about transmog. It's coming in season 14. They say more details are to come. DDoS protection is for Destiny 2 players on all consoles. Will begin in season 13.
Thank
That's
God.
next
Vaulted-
season.
Yeah, that's right.
So
It's coming
good.
right up, right? When's the next season start? Is it in January?
No, February.
No,
March.
I think it's
February?
later. I think it's later.
Yeah, February,
Okay.
March. It
But
is a
next
pain.
season.
It's a pain in the ass hooking up a VPN to the console.
It really is.
Pain in the ass.
It is.
You have to go into your router if you're gonna do it like that way. Mess with some details, get that stuff to work, or you have to hook up another computer to it to then have it talk to that, and just a pain in the ass, man. And I don't want
That's
to get
evolved a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a couple of them that are just applications you can download on the console now, which are fantastic.
Oh, really? Nice.
Oh,
I didn't know
really?
that.
I didn't know that.
Might need to grab that info for
Yeah.
Wait, the two I'm thinking of aren't on next gens yet, but they're currently working
Okay.
as an application you can download. But they're on current gen, like PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah, that's my only thing. Jumping to the Crucible right now, just because it's such a common thing for streamers to get targeted when it comes to DDoSing and all that, and you can still have your IP showing up when you're playing on PS5. Unfortunately,
yeah,
and Xbox.
That's gonna be great.
They teased the Vault of Glass again. They said it's going to return. They don't give a date on it, but sometime during the year. Crossplay is coming in 2021. They reconfirmed that.
That's
And,
it's going to be huge for the game. Like, it
Yeah.
really is. It's
Mhm.
going to be absolutely huge. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to play with PC players. First of all, I think it's probably going to be an opt-in or opt-out situation, or it will be a situation of you're playing with a PC player, so now you're having a mixed pool. I doubt they would just say, it's fully cross-play, go at it, kids. I'm pretty
No
sure
one's
they'll
doing
have
that.
something.
Yeah, no one's doing that. All the
No
other
one
games
does
out there, they're not doing that. So I
Yeah,
don't
there's
think
not
that's
a
good
single
concern.
developer that is just like, go at it, everybody. It's not a
That's right. We
single-
got to protect the PC players from the controller users because they all think they're cheating.
Yeah,
Hey,
but-
nail those.
but, man. Crossplay is huge for Destiny. Like, having all of those communities together to be able to do raids with each other, be able to matchmake. Like, imagine how good the player population is going to be. You know, all those times where you're like, man, it sure feels like skill-based matchmaking is back, even though it's not, because no one's playing because the population is low. It's going to help with those situations because you're going to have more people to play with. So your experience across the board is going to be better. And I know there's a lot of people who haven't been able to play with their friends or their family members because they've switched, and that will get rid of all of that.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Right? Especially in these times when it's so important to try and get a hold of friends and family members in any way possible. Being able to play with them regardless of what console they're playing on or what platform they're playing on. That's great.
Yeah.
That's right. And one of the things that I also think about frequently is just, the way that, and this isn't necessarily like anyone's fault, but the way that introducing PC into the Destiny environment with D2 really did fracture our community in a lot of ways.
I did.
Yeah.
And that was just an unfortunate side effect of something good that happened to Destiny.
Yeah.
It's not, I've seen people spin that and say it never should have come to PC, and that's certainly not the case. It's just an unfortunate side effect of it. And I think it's going to be wonderful to be able to have the option to just, you know what? I don't care what platform you're on. Yeah, I can play with my buddies that I used to stream with and play with, but we're just in different communities now. We're just on different sides of the Destiny community. We don't intersect anymore, and that's unfortunate. But to have that crossplay back, and I know that's sort of a selfish, maybe it's a selfish thing to say, but I'm looking forward to it for different reasons than other gamers might be looking forward to it.
Sure. Yeah. It's going to be good for the community in general.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Two Strikes, Fallen Saber, and Devil's Lair are coming to Destiny 2 in Season 13.
Nice.
Legendary and Master Lost Sector rotation will be expanded to include the Lost Sectors on the Moon in Season 13, and there will be three new pieces of exotic armor to chase.
Cool.
Dope.
Yeah. I mean, like this was a great update. Like I'm just glad to know that they're working on all these things. Like all these things are overwhelmingly positive too. It's like getting one of these every once in a while is just a huge thing. The Luke Smith one that we got early last summer was another real big one. It just kind of it reinvigorates people who are following this stuff.
Yeah, developer course correction and just resonating with player feedback is very powerful.
Yeah.
Just it makes you go, oh, they are playing and listening and having some Similar feelings. Okay, cool. Did you guys play Iron Banner Freelance prior? You must have, right?
No, I played exactly 2 games of Crucible, both on the PS5 at 120 hertz. But mostly, I was trying to position a camera so that I could take a picture of my TV has like a frame rate counter, so I was trying to like do that, and I was just kind of messing around. So no, I didn't really play much Crucible.
I think it's really great.
Crucible.
I think it's really great that
in there.
I think it's great that freelance exists for Iron Banner now, so you're not just going to go against a stacked team all the time. And apparently, if you're not in freelance, it's Mercy City. In freelance, obviously, you're going to have a lot closer games because, well, you know, probably
lobby balancing works a lot better when there's no pre-made far teams. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, freelance felt good. It was a good option. I personally default to playing solo, so great option for me. I engaged with it quite a bit this week and then had a good time with it. It's a mixed bag, you know. Sometimes you're on top, sometimes you're on bottom, sometimes you're getting stomped, sometimes you're doing the stomping. Just comes with the territory. But it's so nice not to have the pre-made fire teams as a solo player in Iron Banner. I only wish Iron Banner had literally anything else new to offer. Fortunately, it is still just the same thing.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
I did forget to mention, along with the next gen updates, there have been a lot of player complaints about the previous gen, the PlayStation 4 and Xbox versions of Destiny 2 not running as well as they did pre-update, which is very unfortunate. I do hope that they fix that real soon.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's been happening to PC too. I know PC performance has been down. Yeah. Frames aren't as high as they were in the past.
Has the church made an official statement about this?
They're perturbed officially.
Officially.
Twab?
Yeah. Anything else? There's the Dawning.
Yeah, the Dawning. There's some cool stuff. There's a fusion rifle here that looks suspiciously like it may be an Omelon.
I think
it looks beautiful, though.
It does.
It's a good-looking fusion rifle.
Dawning always knocks it out of the park as far as looks go.
Dawning is always great. Huh?
I really hope that this fusion rifle can replace my Arantil, because that thing's sunset. It ain't going up. It ain't going into trials. If I ever step foot in trials, it ain't happening. So
do you have an Alatha? Because you can get an Alatha that's not sunset yet.
I don't think I got a good one.
Well, I mean, you could have.
Yeah, I didn't get a good one with like a decent like mapping roll. I'm looking to replace my "this is not a sniper, but you just killed me from an insane range" fusion rifle. That then people are going to tell me that I have no skill using.
Get out of my Crucible, Dad.
I had to hold the trigger and charge it up and predict you, man. Yeah. So, anyways, I hope it's good.
I'm looking forward to it. The ghosts look really cool too. There's a little cute one with a little elf hat on. It's adorable. One's got like a little cupcake candle going on.
I think it's made out of wax. It seems like the whole ghost is made out of wax. That's not viable. You can't. It's not gonna hold up in heat.
Yeah, it seems structurally unsound.
Yeah.
Apply some space magic on that.
Is that dove-shaped ship new, or was that around last year? The kind of vaguely dove-shaped ship.
I feel like that one might be new.
Is it?
Maybe. I don't really remember what the last one looked like.
I like it. It's nice looking.
Yeah, I like it. Then the armor looks great. It really does. I'm excited for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always like the Dawning armor. I only wear it during Christmas, but I like it. Not with transmog, though. You can basically make your...
You could be like that one neighbor that keeps their Christmas lights up all year.
Yeah, we got that neighbor.
Just wear your Christmas stuff all year long.
I don't actually mind it, though. So they have their Christmas lights up all year. It's fucking pretty. So who cares?
What I do is I just don't plug them in the summer. Right?
Yeah.
There you go.
That way, Christmas, it's like, Christmas there? Just plug it in. Boom.
Plug it
lights.
That does sound like a better.
I went so lazy. for these past 2 years. I didn't hang up lights. I got the projector kind. So I
Oh,
let
yeah.
it plug it in.
Nice.
And
Same.
my kids love it because it shines in both of their windows. And we got the one that it kind of looks like the Northern Lights. Looks like so they're like laying in bed. It looks like Aurora Borealis on their ceiling. They freaking love it.
Oh,
And
that's it goes
and
out
I
on your
plug it-
lawn and like
I-
faces your house.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Oh,
I plug
cool.
in the inflatables in front
they're
of the
great.
in front of the lights so you don't see the wires or the lights or anything. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, they're really great because you just need like one projector, put it in the ground, face it at the house. You're good, and it looks great.
Fun, baby.
Oh man, I'm gonna go get one of these tomorrow.
They're
I'm
really
telling
good.
We haven't even gotten our tree yet. I feel bad about it.
You're gonna have to keep it up for longer, Briar.
Yeah.
That's
February.
I mean, you ever see like the guy who's got the Christmas tree out like on the side in our town? You just put the Christmas tree out on the street, right? And the town comes and picks them all up. But there's always that one guy who like missed that opportunity, and he's now got it out on the street in like February. It's like this brown ass Christmas tree. Oops, forgot about it.
Yeah, they usually pick it up around like the first or second week of January.
Yeah,
Right?
pretty quick. If they're a fire hazard, you know.
Yeah, right?
You guys want to do Twitter questions? Anything else in the TWAB you want to talk about?
Anything else this week?
The Warlock melee.
Yeah.
Oh,
Warlock
right.
melee.
God damn.
That's what we should mention.
What
Yeah.
happened
Out
to
of all
Warlock
the
Melee?
things from the TWAB, the Warlock melee, because a lot of the TWAB is like just talking about how Hawkmoon came out and then talking about all the stuff that was in that article, kind of just giving you bullet points of it. And then it does kind of talk about the Dawning a little bit. But so Penumbral Blast, which is the Warlock stasis melee,
Mhm.
projectile range is getting increased by 37%. Minimum distance to cast ranged melee reduced by 32%. This allows you to throw the ranged melee closer to targets.
That sounds good. It needs it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
Yeah.
So when I saw all of those stasis just in general changes come, I was like, well, even if a warlock throws a melee at me from super far away and freezes me, like I get out of that pretty quickly. So I feel like having that melee range back so that it's still good in PvE, I don't think it's going to be a problem in PvP because of the overall stasis nerf. So I'm glad they're doing this.
Yeah, the thing that I found is in like PvE using that melee, it was like, what the hell, man? they just like destroyed that melee for a lot of PvE use, and so it needed to be retuned. So
Yep.
I agree.
Oh, I would also like to say that Bungie Games to Give they reached $1 million.
yo, that's
So
amazing.
they're doing, which is, yeah, it's absolutely amazing. And then for every 50,000 donation milestone that's hit, they're going to have celebrity lore readings. So you've got like Anna Bray in here, Eris Morin, of course, our good friend Morla.
Super cool.
You've got
Nice.
Neil Kaplan, who's Gaul. So yeah, there's a bunch of people doing lore readings, which is really cool.
Mm.
And then the other thing that I saw that I would like to talk about is the Trials of Osiris reward schedule. So we know that the schedule before was going to be like adept weapon and then armor and then like adept weapon. So you weren't going to have access to adept weapons all the time. So they say that Trials of Osiris is expected to return on December 8th. Due to the delay of launching Trials, a few changes were made to the reward schedule. During the first 4 weeks, the Flawless Chest will drop an adept weapon. The 5th week will drop an armor piece, with subsequent weeks switching the rewards back and forth between adept weapons and armor.
Making
So
up for
4
time
weeks.
lost.
Yeah, making up for time lost, because a lot of people were worried about that. It's like we have this really small amount of time to go for all the adept weapons that we want. But this is great. So first 4 weeks, you're going to be able to get an adept weapon.
Are the adept weapons going to change when the season changes?
They have not said anything about having a refresh on Trials loot. So it will probably be a similar rotation next season until we get some sort of announcement that says Trials loot's going to look different next season, like we got, in D1. Sometimes the pool would change. For the time being, I think it's just going to be the same pool we're looking at right now with your scout, shoddy, snipe, fusion.
All right, I'm going to switch over to Twitter questions.
It's just all that
Hova
thinking,
says,
thinking about Trials got my brain numb.
yeah. Hova says, hi guys, how are y'all liking the next gen update? And could you see yourself spending more time on console? Hope you all stay well.
Yes and yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But
Yeah, I'm digging it, and yes, I'll be spending more time on it.
Yeah. Yes, but I did miss mouse and keyboard because I started using mouse and keyboard again for Beyond Light because my shoulder's been better now. And so there was moments where I definitely missed that, but it's just nice to be able to hop on console and definitely know that no one has found some latest hack on a PC that's suddenly going to be floating across the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to play in my living room again, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, it's nice that
We're
there's
old.
it's nice that there's no visual compromise now to have to play on the other platforms, you know?
I didn't enjoy Destiny after I got the PC version on console anymore. It was just like it was too much of a shock to like look at that. It looked like looking at Destiny through a wall, like a window. You know, it was like rolling up a paper tube and and looking at it through there. It's just it was bizarre.
Yeah.
After playing for so long on console, it's amazing how fast. Like I just did not want to play on console anymore.
Oh, another thing too is I don't know if there's an easy way for global join up. Well, also maybe crossplay is going to fix all this, but you know, on PC you can just have your Steam ID put out, and people can automatically join publicly, so you don't have to deal with any kind of friend adding and all that stuff. I feel like PlayStation doesn't have that, so you still have to. No. Yeah, you have to send somebody a party or party invite, and then they can join through the party. Invite, yeah. Is that still the main way?
Yep. Have them join the party and then join your session.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tiago says, "Is it just me or Hawkmoon feels good and weird at the same time?" Good and weird.
That was kind of my experience with it. I was like, "Whoa, this is a D1 hand cannon, amazing base stats." And then I was like, "The perk is all right." I mean, if you get the shot, it's amazing. Obviously, you're loving that, but yeah.
I understand that I'm probably in the minority, but I freaking love it.
I love it as well.
I think the perk on it is so fun to play with. Because I'm like, it's so easy to space out of a Crucible match. You're just doing the same thing. Point, shoot, point, shoot, point, shoot. But with this, it's like every single bullet I fire, I'm intentional about. Where did it go? What did it hit? Is that a yellow number? Is it a white number? What does that mean? I'm doing the math. And I freaking love that. I'm engaged in that Crucible match from start to finish because I have Hawkmoon equipped, and I love it.
That's cool.
Ben Luter says, "What would you prefer? Bungie narrowing the scope of how a season content is delivered, example, menagerie or hunts, in order to add more core playlist stuff like maps, strikes, weapons, or different seasonal activities with less core playlist stuff?" So less seasonal stuff, but more core stuff, or less core stuff, but more seasonal stuff?
Depends on the core stuff, you know? Like if they make some really engaging core stuff that like also has some great rewards with it, I do love and miss that stuff. In fact, I really miss like I missed like different. We were talking about this recently. Different modifiers and all that. And just D1 modifiers specifically had great stuff that made you have different loadouts and interesting things. I'd love to see them really double down on some interesting new modifiers for the strike playlist. But if they don't do that, you know, then I'd be really disappointed if they didn't have the other stuff with the season. So
I do feel like the core playlist needs some help right now. Like they just feel ancient at this point. You know, we're getting 2 new strikes, but they're both D1 strikes. So I don't really think that's going to help the situation that much. They're going to be fun for a little while, but you're going to get used to them really quick because you've already played them for 3 years, right?
Yeah.
So like
on top of that,
you feel a lot of that monotony in PvP too.
That's what I was going to say. No new maps.
No new maps. Like
no new maps.
Like in the maps that should be the more recent ones. I mean, even going back to Forsaken. Like what Forsaken maps are still in the game? Is Equinox in the game? Nope, everyone hated it. Gone. Is Gambler's Ruin still in? Which, by the way, I will say this: I love that map. I think it's an incredible map.
I actually liked Gambler's. I liked it as well.
I thought it was a phenomenal PvP map. Most people disliked it. It's gone.
Which one?
Citadel.
Was that?
Most people. It was the only Tangled Shore map in PvP. Do you remember the Tangled Shore map?
Oh yeah, I didn't mind that one. I actually liked it.
Gambler's Ruin.
Yeah,
I don't mind it at all.
Yeah,
it's gone. Most people didn't like it. It's gone. Citadel. Most people didn't like it. It's gone. So Citadel, even like a lot of the It was bad.
Yeah,
It was
I didn't like
beautiful.
it at all.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Dreaming City is a fantastic place to duke it out with other Guardians. Unfortunately, the map just didn't flow very well. But
Yeah.
all this to say, even the newer maps we got, they're gone, and we're still playing launch maps. Still to this day, the best PvP maps in the game were Destiny 2 beta maps, Javelin 4,
Mhm.
True.
Endless Veil. You know what I'm saying? And Endless Veil wasn't even in the standard rotation last season, and people were asking for it back. So even all this to say, even PvP is really feeling the effects of the monotony now, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh man, we really
Gambit's
could
the same
use
way.
something new, man.
Mhm.
I really do. I kind of feel like at some point they need to just like add a bunch of, strikes, Gambit maps, and Crucible maps, because like those playlists just feel ancient. And like every time we get a new season, or we get a new DLC, you have to go into those to get the engrams out. Like you have to go to get the rewards, right?
Mhm.
And it just feels such a chore right now. Like it really demotivates me, because I get through with like the new story stuff, and I'm like really amped, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna power up my character, and then I'm like presented with the fact that I have to go play 3-year-old strikes to and I gotta like rinse and repeat like for all 3 of those core playlists.
See, for me, I still don't mind jumping in the playlist, because we get new weapons. You try out different loot, you try out different builds, and it can technically make an old strike feel somewhat fresh by getting to play that. But the methods of going about the stuff, like I said, like the lack of new modifiers each week, like it's the same modifiers over and over. It's not heavyweight. Then a lot of times you're like, I'd rather not, because I want my sword to do insane damage, And I think that's like the core issue, is that they don't need necessarily brand new strikes. I mean, brand new strikes would definitely be good, and brand new Crucible maps, obviously that'd be good. But they need to change things up with the reward structure and or the play style that's happening in those things.
I just think they need new strikes, like, because like I know exactly where all the enemies are going to spawn. I know when they're going to spawn. I know where the boss is going to pop out of the ground, so I can play on a grenade there. I can play in a super there. Like I've got them so memorized. Like you look at you go into a random, like you go into the playlist, and people are running strikes in like 6 minutes, because they're just like burning through. They know exactly what platforms to step on. They know exactly which enemies they have to shoot to open the door. Like it's just they've got it absolutely memorized and maximized. There's no discovery to it anymore. There's no brain function to it anymore. You're just literally using muscle memory to get through these things.
That's right. Half the time I do my strikes, I don't even have my headset on. I'm listening to Spotify. It's autopilot.
Yeah.
Jared says, would you rather see a D3 after Lightfall if there is more after Lightfall, or would you rather see Bungie do what they did and add stuff like Shadowkeep and Forsaken stuff to DCV?
I will say the Beyond Light, in my opinion, has proven quite a bit of what they can do to what's currently in the D2 engine. Like, this is kind of their first stab at really changing up a lot of things in the system. And that tells me that they can actually do even more in greater detail instead of having to dump everything and do a D3. So
what are you going to get out of a D3 that's new or revolutionary? It's just going to be more Destiny, quite frankly. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't think
that's-
I could be wrong, but I'm going to make this statement. I don't think there's anything they could do with a D3 that they cannot already do with the current title.
Here's why I would like to see a D3, is because we get new strikes, all new Crucible maps, all new Gambit maps if Gambit sticks around, new planets to explore. All this huge, massive content drops comes in one giant drop, as opposed to the way we have it now is once a year we get like this we get 1 or 2 new planets to explore. Maybe we get a new strike. Maybe over the course of the year we get 2 strikes. Maybe we get Crucible maps. Like what a D3 represents to me is similar to D2. Is like the playlists are all new. Everything's new. Like there's all new weapons. There's all new armor. Like the start to finish, everything is new. Even if it runs off the Destiny 2 engine, that doesn't matter to me as much as just content. Like just getting new content.
But what if they just give you new strikes next year?
That'd be great. But I want new strikes. I want new armor. I want new weapons. I want I want a new tower. You know, like that's what Destiny 3 represents to me.
I hear you and I sympathize, but at the same time, it's like I don't want to say goodbye to Destiny for 2 years while we wait on a D3. I would I know everyone's different. I personally would just rather see them continue to expand this world over time, and I'd rather get new map here, new map there, new strike here, new strike there, big new story. I like this loop that we're in. I think that we've given really good feedback, and I think they're just now starting to refine that process in a way that is really sustainable for Destiny. I want to see how far they can push it personally.
I think making D3 would maybe make sense for players that are brand new coming to the franchise or don't play that much, because you get this big drop all at once. But within a month, you're going to have the exact same feeling that you have right now. So now you're going to go play strikes. Well, you've played all of those strikes before, but now we have less
strikes. Yeah, but not for 3 years, Watts.
But then we have less strikes than we currently have in D2, and they can't sustain adding new strikes, new Crucible maps, new Gambit maps, new armor, new weapons, new planets all the time. So you're going to be right back to where you're feeling right now, but now you're just in D3, and you had like maybe a month or two max where things were all fresh and new. So I don't really see what you're going to gain, especially when
I think that simplifies it a little too much, Watts, because what we're looking at right now is I'm playing strikes that are 3 years old, not a month old, right? It's after a month I might get a little bit bored with content, but now when I see a 3-year-old strike come up in the playlist, I'm like, I literally don't even think about running it. Like it's like autopilot.
I think that same feeling started setting in before the end of the first year for D2. What you're saying. So like I don't think there is any actual solution. Even the D3 solution, just like Watts is saying, maybe it's not a month, maybe it's 6 months, but that time limit, like you're gonna get sick of the core loop faster than you think, which I think is more of a symptom of the fundamental mechanics. They need to change some stuff up. Like remember we had strike scoring in D1 for the regular strikes at the end of the lifetime. Remember that? Like that changed things up.
What would really invigorate things for me is if we add strike specific loot. Like maybe each year we get some strikes that get strike specific loot, and now yes, I'm playing those same strikes, but now I'm grinding for something from that strike that I can only get from there, and that makes me excited to play it again. Whereas if you just give me D3, I really don't actually think I would gain anything from that, especially as we've seen that they've been able to make these small engine changes without completely having a whole new thing. Like when you loaded up Beyond Light, you could tell that things were different. Things looked different. Things felt a bit different. Like they changed some stuff under the hood, not just added a new coat of paint.
It was a facelift, yeah.
It was, yeah. So I don't think that D3 would actually offer anything for me besides just taking content away, and I'd end up having overall less stuff to play, when really I would just like to have more things to chase in the current content. That's what I was excited about when they said that they were going to do like adding more content to the current playlist. I was hoping for, like strike specific loot or something else to chase within those core playlists. So I'm excited to keep playing them again.
Yeah, I agree.
And we're also in a season. This is the first time that they've actually started to maybe play to what you're talking about, Briar, a little bit and say, let's do something different and vault some real old content. People are getting tired of it. People are getting sick of it. Let's take it away for now. We'll save some space on the game. We'll let people save some hard drive space, and the game's going to run a little bit better because we don't have to deal with all these other textures, these other palettes. Just take whole planets out, right? We'll just vault it all. So we're just now starting to see Bungie be like, really taking some dramatic steps into understanding what it means to take the Destiny 2 universe and expand on it and try to keep it fresh. They're learning as they go. And that's why I keep saying, like, man, I just want them to see how far they can push that and see how proficient they can get with that to keep our experience feeling good, feeling fresh, without also taking Destiny away for 2 years with very limited support while they work on a brand new title.
Yeah.
I think it'd be silly to at this point think there is going to be a Destiny 3. Like I'd expect more to see them drop the 2 off of Destiny than I expect to see a Destiny 3. Yep. Like they're clearly looking to evolve this world. It's so much smarter because you keep those players instead of having them buy like a new $60 unit, and like you're evolving a world instead of having to build one from the ground up. It's just that my personal feeling is that the way Destiny has evolved has kind of pushed me away to a point where it relies on me logging in more often, but for shorter periods of time than I really like. I prefer the older model where it was less frequent drops, but they were bigger. So when I was playing Destiny, I was in it for hours and hours and hours, as opposed to now I feel like they drip feed me stuff. When I log in for, maybe on a big week, it's like a few hours and I've done everything I could do. And it's just not how I prefer to game. It's
I
not,
wonder if it would be
it's
better
not the
for you to
wrong
jump
way to
in
do
later,
it.
Briar. Like when
Well,
things
then you
have dropped,
miss
'cause
out
now
on
you have
stuff.
Lament, you have the Rage, which you haven't done. You've got Hawkmoon, you've got like all this stuff that's come out now. So if you jumped in now, maybe you'd feel like there's a lot more to do and a reason to level up for than if you
Maybe.
just jump in right away.
Yeah.
Maybe, but it's not necessarily I'm saying that they're doing the wrong thing. It's just that different people have different ways of doing things. And my way of gaming is I like to just like be completely immersed into a game and get completely obsessed with it for a stretch of time, and then I'll kind of put it down and move on to the next one. Whereas Destiny doesn't really that's not how Destiny is played anymore. It's more it's a daily addiction.
That first week of Beyond Light was pretty absorbed.
Yeah, I was too, but that's
and
what
for
we're
me,
gonna
it's
get
not
for a
even
year.
just the first week. I feel like my pace is a little bit different because I still have things I'm behind on, and I play Destiny religiously since Beyond Light
Me
dropped.
too.
So I think for me, my pace is a little different. For me, it's not. I don't lay down on my back underneath the keg and open up the tap. I take a glass and I go and I hang out and I sip on it for a while, and then I go back to the tap and I get a little bit more. That's what I'm doing with Beyond Light. When I still don't have the Lament, guys, and I raid all the time. I got all my raid clears right, and I still my raid team is like, bro, get the Lament. Come on, we're on A-Tracks, and you're the only guy on the team without Lament. And I'm like, listen, I got Hawkmoon, and I as soon as I got Hawkmoon, I took my glass and I went back to PvP and I sipped on it for a while. And by a while, I mean I spent 2 days, 2 8-hour sessions, just me and Hawkmoon in Crucible, seeing what I could do with it, how I can make it work, learn the ins and outs. And I do that with everything. Got my no time to explain. I took that glass. I went into Lost Sector farming, legendary Lost Sector farming. I made it a part of my anti-barrier build because now you can use exotic pulse rifles for anti-barrier pulse. Great, by the way. I racked up a lot of time getting to know that gun. And then I went back to the tap and I saw what else Beyond Light had to offer. I'm behind on some of my stasis fragments and aspects. Like, I still have a lot of stuff to do because that's what my paces looked like.
Dude.
I play very similarly to you, actually, TV. I go and grab something and I'm like, I want to see what it's like in PvP. And then maybe I'll just spend the rest of the stream in there. Maybe the beginning of the next day in there because I've had such a good time messing around with this new thing. And then I go out. So I think with switching things up instead of like grind, get the thing. Okay, what's the next grind? Grind, get the thing.
Yeah.
Switching up what I'm doing and when I'm doing it and how I'm doing it seems to help with a lot of this.
I'm also somewhat in that same vein as well because I like this season or this drop, I've just really been enjoying No Time to Explain, Lament, and Cloud Strike. Like I could switch between those 3 exotics for a long time, playing a lot of different activities and not get bored of those encounters. Like if you haven't got Lament yet, you should get it and then go into Gambit and just melt the boss.
But what if
silly.
it's a meatball?
You can actually do it in the air. I didn't realize this. You can jump up and you can actually do the combo midair, which is kind of nuts, right? With Lament.
Pretty fun.
Yeah, but also it's got anti-barrier in there. So like I was thinking about that loadout as well. Now anytime there's an anti-barrier champion, I'm like, let's rev up this chainsaw. We're going at it. You know? Yeah.
Yep.
It's so good.
Alex Martinez says, has Destiny ruined how other shooters feel? I started Cyberpunk last night, and the shooting just feels off coming from Destiny.
Yeah.
Two things. Yes, because Destiny gun mechanics are incredible. But the other thing is the guns definitely get better in Cyberpunk as you get it's an RPG.
So does your ability to shoot them.
Yeah, your ability, but also it's an RPG, so the base guns are gonna suck, and they more so suck than like Destiny's worst guns. By the time you get to a certain awesome character and get to use his gun, you're like, this is an awesome gun. Oh my god.
It's like every game for me. The only game that's come close to Destiny would be Apex for me,
I
or
love
Titanfall.
Apex.
I guess Respawn, they also make real good shooting. But pretty
Mhm.
much everyone else, I'm like, it just doesn't feel as good. It's okay, but it doesn't feel as smooth and buttery.
Yeah.
I liked the feel of the guns in Cyberpunk. I was surprised. Like, it definitely doesn't feel like Destiny, but Destiny has a very unique feel. It's got that Halo feel, right? It's got that Bungie feel. It's unique to Bungie games.
It's because
although I think Borderlands 3 got close to it.
Yeah, Borderlands did get through. Did get close to it. I think it's because you were expecting Fallout garbage guns, right?
Yeah, totally. Like, I knew it was going to be an RPG, and you're
Yeah.
starting at a base level character with the worst guns. So
Yeah, so you're thinking like, oh, these guns are just going to suck, and you're going to have to rely on like perks to make it like usable or fun because it's not a real shooter. And then you get some stuff later on, you're like, this is actually pretty good.
Yeah,
If
I
it
was
plays-
laughing because I was like, damn, there's like not a lick of aim assist in this game. I'm playing on PC with a mouse. Like, you got to literally put that sight like directly on somebody's nose to get a headshot. And then I was messing around in the settings today. I'm like, oh, I have aim assist on. I'm like, holy shit, what's it like if you turn it off?
I was
Man, I
actually
really
said
suck.
today, I was like, I could go with, just a little smidge more aim assist, just a little bit. Give me that crispy feel.
I gotta say, if you're playing Cyberpunk, why are you using guns?
I know, right?
I
Grab
just
yourself
run around
a
the
katana.
katana just the whole time. Just...
I was saying,
I was like, I was thinking this was a family-friendly stream until I went and
Oh,
cut
wait till
someone's
we
head off
talk
with a
about
katana.
the number 1 or number 2 option. of
penis one,
Cyberpunk.
penis two.
I had the nudity setting on already, so I didn't do any of that.
Oh my gosh, I played that game for 8 hours today, and there was one part of that game during my whole 8-hour session where I'm literally carrying a woman and her boobs are in my face. This is one time in a whole 8-hour session. Guess when my wife comes downstairs? Ryan, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'll try.
At least you didn't have the bug where your dong was also glitched out of your pants. That would have been
Yeah.
like
About
that.
that, yeah.
I'll tell you, if I get that bug, immediately going to Twitter with it.
I sure hope so.
Oh man.
Mohican Knight says, how many years do you think we'll have support for the PS4 and Xbox 3? I'm going to assume he means specifically for Destiny.
I'm going to assume also.
Couple years.
What was the question? I wasn't paying attention.
How many years do you think we'll have support for PS4 and Xbox 3?
Oh, okay.
Oh, actually,
I
now
say
that I
2
think
years.
about it, you think 2 years? They did like, wasn't it 1 year until they dropped the 360 and the PS3?
I
No,
don't remember,
no, it was because the
No, oh, I'm thinking
Destiny
of the last
launched
title.
on the PS4.
Yeah, I'm thinking the last title. Sorry, Rise of Iron.
Yeah. So
No, I'm confused. Sorry.
so they had 2
So,
years of support for the 360 and the PS3.
Rise of Iron, they dropped it, right? Dropped support
Right.
for the
I
version.
honestly don't remember.
No idea.
Yeah, they dropped it at Rise of Iron. Yeah, I would think that. I think it probably depends on how popular the PS4 or the PS4 and the
True.
Xbox One remain. Like, if they're a majority of the Destiny's players, they're not dropping it.
Right.
But once you become like a very small speck on the Destiny servers,
Getting it
adios.
down. Boom.
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen fast too, because I think these new consoles are a bigger jump than the PS4 was to the PS3
they are,
and the
for sure.
Xbox One.
Absolutely.
So I think when these things become in stock, plus people are at home more right now because of COVID. So I think these things are going to sell out fast. I think the adoption rate is going to be super fast,
Yeah.
and Destiny players in particular, are getting a giant upgrade.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure they're going to announce it when it's the last title that gets supported. So,
Mhm.
if they
I
were
hope
planning on
so.
dropping it
I'm sure they
after
will.
Beyond Light, they would. They probably would have mentioned it. So
It'd be cool if they gave us like a year notice, like, hey, this DLC is going to be the last one, so you got a year to save up for the next one.
they have like the whole season pass model right now, so they
Yeah.
kind of have to let people know that like it's not going
Right.
to work.
But what I'm saying is, like, if they come out with the next DLC, which supports the PS4, and then they say at the release of that PS4, hey, by the way, the next one a year from now is not going to support PS4. I think, like, I'm not saying that's going to be the timing of it, but like, it'd be nice if they gave a big, huge window, just so people could, because $500 is a lot of money to spend.
It is, yeah.
Mike says, oh, wait, I missed one. Pancho JJ says, Vault of Glass is coming back. Do you guys think they'll bring back the Mythoclast as well?
Yes.
I think they have to.
I think exactly. I think they have to bring back all of the loot because it was such a legendary part of Destiny with Fatebringer and Vex and Confluence, all those guns. They were so good that I don't think you can bring back Vault of Glass and not bring the loot.
Yeah.
The hell just happened to TV?
Sorry. I was
presenting his drawing.
A huge fan of the Vault of Glass armor set that I did my own fan art of what I think is the best Warlock armor in the history of Destiny.
That is pretty good.
The Vogue Age of Triumphs. Was it Age of Triumphs? That was right?
Yeah.
That armor set. Oh my gosh, that blew me away. That's the best a Warlock has ever looked in the history. I literally just spilled so much crap out of my shelves getting that. And I hope that didn't come through the mic very
loud. Mike says, how far into 2021 do you think we'll be before we get crossplay?
I think a safe bet is the next major DLC.
That is a safe bet. I'm going to go with Season 14.
So the summer?
Yeah.
Is that summer?
Maybe.
Probably a safe bet.
It seems like a summer thing.
Yeah.
Maybe not even a long... it wouldn't surprise me if this doesn't come along with like a big update to the game. Like, it's just like in the middle of a season somewhere, they're like, okay, it's ready. We're turning it on.
Yeah, they actually might want to turn it on in the middle of something that isn't so crazy to test it, to make sure nothing breaks, as opposed to being in the middle of a major DLC drop.
Like a lull in player population?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we saw a lot of bugs with Beyond Light. As good as I think Beyond Light was, we did have a lot of issues.
Yeah.
A lot of bugs. Yeah. So it might be a good idea to try and implement stuff a little more trickily.
I will say, though, even though there was a bunch of bugs, they changed a huge amount underlining in the hood.
Yeah.
Under the hood of the game. Yeah. So the fact that it did run relatively successfully across the board is really commendable to them.
Like, it becomes more and more apparent as time goes on how much they changed, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that they can like nerf that Warlock melee and then a couple weeks later be like, oh, it's back. Like, we've never seen anything like that before in Destiny's history.
Jordan Fight says, how amazing do you feel when you hear Hawkmoon sound effect? It makes me feel like I could one-shot Riven.
That's pretty accurate. Any time I hear the Cacaw, I was real excited. An exciting sound.
Holly says, anyone else just want to give the crow a big old hug? Like, we better be able to bring him and glint some cookies with this dawning.
I felt sympathy for sure.
That's a good point.
You guys are soft. He's fooling you all.
You haven't played it, Briar. You didn't do the mission.
Judas!
You didn't do the mission.
I don't want his Hawkmoon. His Hawkmoon light.
I did think it was interesting that your ghost speaks for you, because I think that some players do feel the way you feel, Brian. They're like, nah, man, this dude killed Cade. I'm not cool with it. But there's an exchange where your ghost actually says, my guardian isn't one to hold grudges. And he says that to Crow. And it's like, hold up. I didn't say that. You know what I'm saying? I personally don't feel that way, but I know that a lot of people do. I thought it was interesting that they kind of forced your guardian into a role with the way that your ghost speaks for you there.
He's going to be the new speaker, so better get used to it.
Crow is?
I mean, the light is the traveler's talking to him. So.
Oh, right. Forgot about that.
Yeah. The traveler's talking to him. Chose him specifically.
This is why we're going to the darkness. Right here. This is why.
It's spoken to us before, too, in visions and stuff like that. But I'm not the speaker.
Maybe we are.
Yeah, but we're also talking to the darkness.
Maybe I am the speaker.
Always was that meme. Am I the speaker? You always were.
Always were.
The other part of that meme is he's literally about to shoot him in the back of the head.
just forget about that other part.
Zombie with a Life says, do you think Elsie's fish ghost is how she time travels? Maybe will get one and have a time traveling or changing subclass.
Sure.
Isn't it Braytech technology
Little fishy.
that makes the time traveling? You know, something to do with like the darkness and all that technology that like Clovis Bray
Sure.
just jacked in.
Nailed
it.
Like we're gonna find a DeLorean somewhere in the Deep Stone Crypt. That's the answer.
Yeah. Oh my god, they should totally make a DeLorean like inspired Sparrow.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be cool.
William James Corwin says, should we expect the same amount of content as Beyond Light for the next 2 fall expansions, or do you think we might get more because of Bungie constantly hiring more people?
Don't know.
I'm going to
It's a really-
cautiously say slightly more. Cautiously.
It's a real hard thing to gauge. The one thing I've learned in gaming is that expectations are rarely spot on.
True.
So, man, I don't know. I'm hesitant to say more, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was more. I would also not be surprised if we got the exact same amount of content, pretty similar with a fall drop, but we got more in between now and then. In terms of like live support, rewards, all that kind of stuff. I think that might be where they bolster. You know what I mean? I don't know. We can speculate.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, like I do expect more weapons. That's really about it.
Yeah.
Friendly Awesome Dude Man says, which set of Dawning armor will you be going for first? New Titan Chunky Boy or Hunter Pointy Boy? What kind of question is this? Hunter?
Obviously.
Obviously.
Are you
TV
all Hunter
agrees.
mains here?
God damn it. Yeah.
TV.
Orc Chop says, what's the most cyberpunk thing you could do in Destiny? Well, in Destiny 1, you could push people off of the ledge in the tower. I think that was pretty cyberpunk. That was great. When like your friend went AFK to like go fix a snack or like go to the bathroom, you could push him off of the ledge in the tower.
Yeah.
That was good. I like that.
Maybe the katana thing?
Give me back my weeb sword. That's pretty good.
You still have the weeb sword. Well, yeah, it's
Yeah.
that was pretty good.
Give me a new weeb sword. A lament version of it would be great.
Yeah.
Rev it up.
I liked how the swords too were like they were a little different for each class. Those first swords in Destiny 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like the weave sword was just for the hunter, and like the Titan had this like massive sword.
The crown.
They held like Conan the barbarian.
the
Brown,
what? Where was your brain going?
I'm not sure. Someplace awesome though. Manicole says, Lore Masters, why is Spider called Spider?
Because he's a spider.
Fallen
He
were
spins a web of deceit and lies.
well, the Fallen were designed as arachnids. I don't know if you were aware of that.
Oh, yeah, I
That's
knew
part of
that.
their design choice. So I mean, that sort of checks out.
He's a spider.
Spider.
Because he's a spider. He's a spider because he's a spider.
Yeah.
It's not that deep.
Day One says, was palindromes anyone go to in D1?
Yes.
Anybody?
I use
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, year 3, I had a pretty good roll on a palindrome that I liked quite a bit. I liked
Yes.
the look of it too when I was aiming down sight. Like it was clear and easy to hit shots with.
I always liked it. I never really mained it, or it was never a regular part of my routine, but I did like it.
James Carey says, recently it was confirmed that Osiris and State 14 are more than just friends. Is there anyone in the Destiny universe you'd love to ship?
Man,
I mean, it's State 14, isn't it? No, you know who it is? Shax.
The Shax and
You
Mara
imagine
have
Shax
a
in
history.
bed screaming out like the commentary in bed. Oh, Guardian! Oh,
Oh, I bet Shax could really make Crow feel better about himself.
True. Give him a pep
There's
talk.
lots of encouraging words.
yeah.
We finally feel welcome.
When they're doing it.
I really liked the relationship that we were starting to see. As purely platonic, but it was fun and it was playful between Cade and Petra before Cade died. I really liked that. Those interactions were really fun to play with. I actually wish we had more Petra in the game. I personally find her more interesting than Marasov.
Petra is cool.
Petra is a badass.
She gets the stuff done.
like
That's
her.
why. You know, she's taking care of business in the Dreaming City.
D Flawless says, if Gnawing Hunger go burr and Hawkmoon go caw, what does last word go?
Yeehaw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
He had another question. Anyone
What
else
else
get the sense that Bungie is positioning Crow to be the next speaker? Watch does.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be Crow. It's going to be Glint, and he's going to reclaim his name as Pulled Pork.
That was such a better name.
Way better.
Didn't Spider rename him after he messed with him? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I'm gonna go.
I thought it was that he named it the Crow. I could be wrong on this. I thought Crow was got the
Crow's
name
like
of the ghost.
Glint.
I'll call you Glint because you're a glint of light.
Yeah.
Mad Geek says, time to switch questions. For TrueVanguard, what has been the most embarrassing question on DCP?
The most embarrassing? Anything that challenges my family-friendly mantra. So Briar's over here talking about, my dog was so long in Cyberpunk. It's glitching through my pants. And I'm over here like, God, please forgive. He knows not what he does.
God doesn't like dicks?
He
He designed them, didn't he?
I'd like to think he's out there like, yeah, that's pretty good.
God's like, oh, yeah, number 2.
Number 2.
For DCP crew on armor pieces, which mods help the most for increasing the range of a sidearm with minimal cost to the firing speed?
What armor pieces?
There's a mod that changes the firing speed of your sidearm? Wait, I feel like I misunderstood the question.
That's what he's saying. On armor pieces, which mods on armor pieces, which mods help the most for increasing the range of a sidearm with minimal cost to the firing speed?
Range?
So your sidearm firing speed cannot be manipulated. Your firing speed is going to stay the same. If you're looking to get more range out of your sidearm, you may want to switch up your archetypes from your rapid fire and adaptive frames. Maybe look for something like a lonesome. I would honestly tell you, if you're looking for more range out of a sidearm, take Traveler's Chosen for a spin. It is one of the absolute best dueling guns in the game.
It has so much range.
Ton of range, and make sure you're using your helmet target acquisition buffs. So, not enhanced, but your sidearm targeting mods are going to help you out with stickiness, a little bit more stickiness at range. So that'd be my recommendation.
I also find that 3 burst sidearms tend to do pretty consistent with range as well. It's when you start getting into the full auto that you can feel like you're having less range, but I feel like a lot of the 3 bursts are actually pretty good.
Even the 2 burst ones, the aggressive frame ones like Breach Light, and Smuggler's Word. Those are actually really, really powerful sidearms at range. Check those out too.
Yep.
Remember when Last Hope was like the meta in vanilla?
Yes, I do.
123 says, name the first thing to do when loading up Destiny for the first time on the next gen update of Xbox 4.
Just freaking fly everywhere. Just load up your menu.
Field of view. That's what I was gonna say. Just like whoop, all the way.
No. That's the boring. Load up your menu, switch all your weapons and armor at once, go fly between all the planets, and just go yeehaw the whole time.
Yeah,
you notice it right away though when you when you're flying between planets, even like that animation of like the stars scrolling past.
Yeah,
like our 60 FPS, you're like, oh. And then when you go, like, you fly away from the planet, you go in a straight line, but it's like you're going in a straight line for about 2 seconds, and then you're flying into the next planet. Great.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, and turn off the film grain.
Oh, and turn on 120 FPS in Crucible if your TV
That's
/ monitor
if your
can
TV
support
supports it. Insane8511 says, this is for everyone. What are the ideal settings you recommend for the new consoles? I think we just did that, actually. What is the most essential piece of food at a barbecue? You can't use Briar.
Did you just add that, Briar?
No, it says...
I think Briar added that himself. Don't
No
get
amendments.
baited.
It's got the little brackets around it.
The beer is the most important part of any barbecue.
TrueVanguard is right.
The quality of the barbecue will fluctuate depending on how good the beer is.
I think I would. I'd say that the barbecue is a disappointment since you can't have delicious cooked Briar Rabbit.
I'm not coming to your barbecue. Sorry.
I wouldn't go to that barbecue. Thank you very much. In fear of being disappointed for the rest of the week.
Ringo the Dingo says, what is your... I just broke my pen. What is your...
Out of anger.
Ringo the Dingo says, what is your and your family's favorite pre-Christmas Advent tradition?
Every weekend we say we're going to put up the Christmas tree until eventually it's so close to Christmas that we have to put up the Christmas tree. So we put up the Christmas tree. That's a pretty consistent tradition.
That's like one of those.
We open presents on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We do like one present for everybody. We kind of like pick them to be kind of fun presents that you can play with. Whatever. It's mostly for the kids, but the adults like it too.
In the past,
really
we've been doing like the white elephant type of stuff, which has been fun. Inevitably, somebody brings like a dirty gift. Someone, grandma ends up with a dildo.
She's like, oh no.
Oh no, I don't know anything about
I've already got this one. Did you get the receipt?
Obviously, we're not doing that this year because of COVID, but
yeah.
We like to we strap the kids in the car and we get hot chocolates and then we drive around. We're out for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. We drive around, we hit certain neighborhoods and check out lights. We've got a couple of great places around us where there's some neighborhoods that they just go all out. There's one where they all sync up. Like it's a whole cul-de-sac. There's one guy in the middle that has this rig where he syncs up the lights with music with a radio channel that they all pay for and broadcast to. So you just go park in the cul-de-sac and you're surrounded with houses down each side of you, just all synced up to music, flashing and stuff. And the kids, they eat it up.
That's amazing.
That's cool.
I would if I had that around me, I'd go too. That sounds great.
When my kids were younger, we used to go to a park that kind of did that. It was like you drive through the park and everything is lit up in the park. Mace says it's time to end the debate. Which model in Cyberpunk 2077 is better, Penis 1 or Penis 2?
I'm gonna go 2.
And we've been beating around this bush all night. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What if I didn't select a bush, Briar? What if I select the sun strips?
I think I chose a heart.
I did too. I went with the heart too.
There is the matching ass tattoos, but they're penis tattoos.
We have matching pubic hair.
Mm-hmm.
Is all forgiven from past.
And a surprise to nobody, probably. I don't remember which penis I selected. I think actually I might have gone with a vagina.
Yeah, I was actually curious about the genital selections for the female.
I thought there'd be more, if I'm being real.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Here's a hot take that literally everyone agrees with. The character creation is pretty bad.
I thought so too.
It's not great. It's just not. Like the colors, when you're in other character creators, you don't just select between pre-made colors, you select on a whole spectrum of colors. You can choose to have this part of your hair green, this part of your hair pink. You can have one eye red, one eye black. You could change everything. This was like
I was
100%.
also disappointed in that. I literally, I was gonna do my whole playthrough live on stream, so I was like, man, I'm gonna give myself a full hour to do custom character creation. That way, when I start, I can just hit the ground running with stream. And I was done in like 10 minutes, and I was really bummed out by that. Like, I went in, I actually had my vision for how I was gonna play Cyberpunk was actually I wanted to make my character modeled after Gildarts from Fairy Tail. And so I had like a picture of him all ready to go. I was ready to like match make everything, and I was just so disappointed. It's like I can't even get close. They don't. His hairstyle, I can't get close to it.
Nope.
Not even really close to it.
I know.
His facial hair, can't get close to it. I instantly scrapped it. It's like, fine, I'll just make some.
On top of that, there was no like, length, girth, circumcised, not so, like...
There was length.
Oh, was there?
There was a little bit of length.
It wasn't a slider though.
No,
Where's
no,
all
it was
the
3
sliders?
preset lengths.
That's right.
All
So
of
many
which made me
presets.
feel very inadequate.
Is this real to life? I don't think
That's the short one?
Jeez.
I tried to
Rick,
make
why
my...
do I come on this show?
I don't know. Anytime I send the message, I'm like, there's gonna be a time where it's like, you know what? I'm cut off. I'm not coming on anymore. I refuse. This is ruining my day. I tried to make my Neo 2 character, and it was basically impossible. So
Really?
Yeah.
that made me real sad. It was easy for me because there were like 4 options that I liked instead of the normal. Wow, I love everything. So it was pretty fast.
I ended
Although
up.
Fran took over 2 hours in character creator. So
In a
Really?
surprise
Wow.
to nobody.
Maybe it crashed halfway through and he had to restart or something.
he can't make it. It's his decision is the problem. He'll be deciding between 2 things, and he's like, "Don't know, no idea."
That's true.
We know
I
what they
ended
were
up-
deciding.
My
Yeah.
character looks almost exactly. I ended up making a transition. Almost looks exactly like Malcolm from Jessica Jones. I don't know if you guys have watched the Jessica Jones series on Netflix.
Yeah.
But I found a hairstyle that when I saw, I was like, oh, that kind of looks like Malcolm from season 2 of Jessica Jones. I was like, you know what? I can make that work. And sure enough, I went down and my character is literally the spitting image of Malcolm from Jessica
Nice.
Jones now. I was like, all
Really?
right. Well, at least I came out with something I was happy with because I always had a bit of a man crush on him.
Awesome. I just
You
looked
know
at the
who
beard,
always nails
you know?
it with the character creations is Eric's. Like, he just put a video up about like how to find like the fastest motorcycle in Cyberpunk or whatever. But he shows a picture of like his character sitting on a motorcycle, and it looks exactly like Eric's. And that's true in like every game where there's a character creator.
He's
can
bald with
always
a long red beard, though. So it's how hard is it?
That's true.
You've always got those options. When it comes to character creations, though, one of my favorites is this YouTuber by the name of Rabas. I don't know if you've ever watched Rabas. Rabas here, playing more Fallout 4. You know that guy? Hilarious. And his character creations are just the most ridiculous things you'll ever see.
Pizza Man 427 says, oh wait, I'm sorry, I missed Faraji. Faraji says, can we get a little side quest sneak peek? Just a yes or no. Do y'all like Cyberpunk?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It didn't meet my expectations, but I still like it.
I like being in the city and running around the world. There's a lot of stuff that I have a problem with that the company has done that has made me just be like, I don't like this company at all. But yeah, being in the city is fun. Being in the city is a good time.
Pizza Man 247365 says, have you guys seen anywhere to buy the new consoles after the first couple of weeks? I haven't heard anything about where to even attempt to purchase one.
Yeah, there's actually
back
been a
alley
few.
drug dealers. They're
No,
much you
there's
got,
been a
Pizza
few.
Man?
There was one that went up. I can't remember where it was today, but one went up today on like Target or Walmart or something. But yeah, they go up all the time on Target, Walmart, GameStop.
yeah, they've been getting restocks, but it's just they sell out so quick.
You gotta know
Yeah.
where to look.
The way to do it,
Go ahead.
the way to do it is to get either an app or I used Wario64 Twitter when I was looking for. There's a few different things I've used him for, but he'll post when they go up, and you basically have to already be logged into the sites.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like in a separate browser, log in to like Walmart.com, create an account, log in, put your credit card information into Walmart.com, Target.com, GameSpot.com, BestBuy.com, Amazon.com, and just leave them there logged in. And then when you see an alert come up, immediately try and add it to your cart and check out. Because if you have to take the time to log in and add a credit card, you're probably going to miss out.
That's too late. Yep.
And that's the current state of trying to buy legit.
That's the current state of trying to buy a PlayStation 5, an Xbox, a graphics card, a processor, like any number of things right now. It's just like everything's out of stock right now.
There's also some people you can follow on like Twitter and stuff that will say like that there's rumors that Walmart's going to have more stock coming in tomorrow or something. So you can at least have like some type of heads up of where to be. But yeah, they kind of put them up randomly, which is good. A defense against bots because it's going up randomly. Like a lot of the things that have been purchased have not been purchased through bots. It's through people just having information of when it's going live and being ready to make that purchase. But yeah, that's like we said, you have to make an account, have all of it set up, be logged in and ready to go.
Yeah,
and one more recommendation would be to have some people on your team.
That's a good point.
When I was hunting for console, I was like, I knew when it was going to happen, so I was ready. My wife was ready on a different device, and I had a couple of other friends even in other states who were ready to try and help me secure one. Right. And so whoever got it, would get it, and then I'd pay whoever. If it was me, great. But if it was one of them, I'd pay them later. But anyways,
we did the same with some friends. We because Toma would normally know when they're gonna go up, so he'd be like, "Okay, I'll be logged in trying to get it for you. You log in trying to get it for us. We'll all try and get it." And that's how we've been able to get some people their consoles.
Lord Bira says, I'm kind of tired of sitting on my couch. Do you think splitting my Xbox video to a desk with a TV on it is a good idea? Splitting the video so I don't need to get another console. Yeah, it's a great idea.
Desk gaming is very different than couch gaming, but I love it.
It is.
Yeah. If you've got an Xbox with 4K video, if you want 4K video, be careful about the splitter that you're using. Make sure it's at least HDMI 2.0 compliant if you want to get 4K 60 video through it. Also, be wary of how long your HDMI cable is. I've had pretty good luck in the 20 or so foot range, but if you go longer than that, you may want to look at fiber optic HDMI cables.
Or get like a powered solution.
But yeah, it's a great idea. You also may want to get how long a distance is your controller away from the Xbox. You may want to think about that too, because you probably want line of sight at least. Unchrasmatic says, what's your favorite holiday movie? Favorite holiday movie? Fat Man, I just watched. That's a new movie where it's like an ultra violent take on like
the Mel Gibson one.
Yeah, Mel Gibson.
How was it?
It was ridiculous, and I gotta say I enjoyed it. It was like it was outrageous, and I kind of thought it was fun. I
have no idea what this is.
Okay. I gotta check it out. It's like a action. It's an action. Would you call it an action comedy? But it's not like intentionally a comedy. It's like
the funniest parts are how violent it is. Like it's so over the top. I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's pretty good.
I really like Elf. Sorry, not Alf.
Alf. I was like, Alf?
I binge watch Alf
every year. Also for Arbor Day. Wayne says, what's your most prized band shirt obtained from a concert you attended and why? Extra points if you have it nearby so you can show us on screen.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. I'm in an office.
Yeah.
I have a shirt from seeing Steve Miller Band live. They were fantastic because I love classic rock. Who else would I say? I've got an Avenged Sevenfold shirt from concert too. I don't know where that one is anymore. I don't remember.
It's not a shirt, but I had, and I think I lost it in some move along the way, or my wife might have thrown it away on purpose. It was a black straw cowboy hat. It was probably 2 sizes too small, and it had a black kind of, I don't know, ribbon around it with Brooks and Dunn written on the ribbon.
T-Pain.
No, oh, that would have been a good one. I'd be more proud of that. And that was I bought that one at a Brooks and Dunn. It was like a country western like fest up at the Big E, like one of those big like I don't know. It was a big country western concert with a bunch of people, and Brooks and Dunn was there, and I bought the hat because it was like 105 degrees, and I'm out there wearing a t-shirt, and I was wearing Crocs at the time. Not Crocs.
Surprise.
What are those leather sandals called that everybody was wearing in like the late 90s, early 2000s? Birkenstocks. I was wearing Birkenstocks
They're back in
and a
fashion.
t-shirt. And I felt like the only person who I felt like I was getting away with something because everybody else at the place was wearing cowboy boots and jeans. And I was like, it is 105. They literally had fire trucks there hosing us down with water because they thought we were all going to die.
Huh.
But I bought a hat to keep the sun off of my face. And I thought it was kind of funny to have a country western hat 2 sizes too small while I was wearing Birkenstocks.
As long as you got the assless chaps to go with it. I want to see you at GCX.
You have not lived until you've worn assless chaps and Birkenstocks.
Oh man.
The Monkey 9 says, if you stopped aging today, how long would it be before you realized it?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I might fall. You know, when you're like look the same. Then 1 year you just fall off the cliff. That could be tomorrow. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't
I have no idea.
age, it would take a while. Like all of a sudden, you'd be like,
It
"Wait a
would
minute!
take a while,
Everybody
yeah.
around me has gotten like way older looking."
It's like, wait, you have wrinkles. Wait, what's going on?
Yeah, especially if it were to happen, like it were to start today,
Yeah.
right? Because you've aged up to this point normally, but like no gray hairs, like no wrinkles, no nothing. Like I think it'd take like a good 10, 15 years.
Yeah, I'm thinking
noticed.
I'm thinking maybe 30 years until finally one day you're like, wait a minute, all my friends definitely look older, and
I think I've noticed in like, well, depends how old people around me look at like 40 or something. I don't know. Maybe 10 years, 15
I'm
years.
already starting to get the grays in the sides. That's why I have my barber go all the way up. Like, just take it all off. Go to a 0 all the way up because like this is where they're starting to come in. If I grew it out, you'd see grays just right over the ears. So I think I'd notice it pretty quickly if those grays stopped coming in.
Will Scott says, "What for each of you was the funniest moment of the show?" For him, it was Pope falling out of the chair. He also says, "Why eat Briar when Tefty's gluten free?" Love you guys, big fans. It's early Planet Destiny. It's a good point, Will.
Yeah, but you're beer
Tefty
battered.
is the healthier option.
Briar's
Briar
beer
is
battered.
taller as well. He has more flesh to go around.
I miss the old Holtzman rants.
Yeah, Holtzman rants are
yeah.
good.
It's, the mama
The baby
bird
bird story has been around lately because
It's so
apparently 3D Doritos are back.
they're back, baby. Patrick's about to do an exposition stream of how to fully enjoy your 3D Doritos.
A retelling.
A retelling.
Retelling.
Yeah. Holtzman, a retelling.
The dead cat ad read, that might be the hardest I ever laughed on this show. When
Yeah,
he
that was
just
really
like he spent like 3 minutes talking about how his cat died and just extremely naturally moved it right into the ad read for Blue Microphones. Like it was really impressive how well he
It
did it.
was.
But when he did it, it was like so funny because like you just
I'm so sad and
transitioned.
now I'm just freaking what is going on?
Yeah, I think the dead cat ad read.
Just
He-
when he was talking about mama birding and everyone in chat was like, "God, stop! Oh no, that was a good time." That was great. People's
And
pain
everyone
was
hated
very
it. It
fun.
was great.
Everyone
Yeah.
hated it. It was amazing.
It was funny, but I was also like nauseous at the same time. It's like when Pope was rubbing
Yeah.
Taco Bell on his beard.
That's what I was
like,
about to say.
Oh, yeah.
That made
Yeah.
me more nauseous. When Pope just went all in and rubbed Taco Bell all over his face and just
Yeah, he thought
turned
the
into an
next
absolute
evolution of
bastard.
loving the food was rubbing it all over his beard, and I was like, oh God.
gone too far.
Remember when he shaved his beard off and glued it to Fallout's face?
Woo.
Yes. Yes, I do.
I do.
That one made me nauseous. Blandy McBlanderson says, I recently discovered that you can now buy mayo chup and mayo tard, which are premixed combinations of mayonnaise with ketchup and mustard, respectively. Are
Oh.
these new condiments a work of genius or depravity? Could you picture yourself using them?
Isn't like the cool part of using multiple condiments though, like the swirl technique? How you have them next to each other, and then you get like the cross dip, right? And then you get to see the nice little gradients of color from that instead of having them perfectly.
What do you
mixed.
dip it in mayo?
Yeah, I don't do mayo. I'm
Yeah,
not a
mayo I don't
fan.
dip, but like mustard and ketchup, I could definitely do a little, you know.
At that point, you're halfway to barbecue sauce. Why not throw in the rest?
Want to have some barbecue
Maybe
sauce
I have
too?
barbecue sauce too. Yeah.
It's a trifecta.
There you go.
The mayo chup sounds disgusting, and mayo tard sounds offensive.
Yeah, they do.
2020, you can't say
The
that.
names could be use a little work.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like I want to individually control my rationing of mayo, ketchup, and mustard at all
Exactly.
times.
Yeah, you don't want equal parts all the time. Sometimes you're front loading the mustard, sometimes you're front loading the
Yeah.
ketchup. You know?
You
The
got
only-
to tailor make it to what you're dipping.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never gotten on board with that like peanut butter and jelly in one tube that you squeeze
No.
out.
Oh no.
Like, what the fuck?
No.
Yeah.
You want to
that's what-
control the amount of things.
Don't
Based on your
homogenize my
personal
PB and J, you Nazi.
Yeah. What kind of time savings are you getting out of this? Like,
Right?
It's negligible, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Also, the only
Also,
thing
don't fuck with me because I put the peanut butter knife into the jelly jar. The only thing you ever make with jelly is peanut butter jelly sandwiches. It doesn't matter if there's peanut butter in the jelly.
No,
No.
butter and honey. No, butter and jelly on a English
Mhm.
muffin. Toasted
I'm gonna
English
keep
muffin.
doing
That
it.
is delicious.
I'm dipping that knife all up in there. I'm swirling it around. There's little
No.
pieces of peanut butter in there.
on top of that, Brian, listen, you use a knife for peanut butter, you use a spoon for jelly. This
I'm
is
gonna
just
use
optimal.
2 utensils. That's quite twice the amount of dishes. Think of the environment.
It's a
Tefty.
pandemic. What else
You're
you doing?
literally
You're not just-
killing the
You're
world.
staying at home doing nothing else. You got time. Come on.
Spray it. Spray it down.
Phil says, if you can only have one cheese-based food for the rest of your life, what is it? Example, nachos, pizza, grilled cheese, anything where if there's no cheese, it's not the same anymore. You can only have one cheese-based. This is awful. This is a bad question.
I gotta go with Mexican food in general because Mexican food leverages cheese
Yeah.
very, very well. in
Yeah.
many dishes.
Imagine.
I mean,
You know what I'm
cheese
saying?
is one of my favorite things.
Imagine no cheese enchiladas.
Fuck you.
No cheese or
No.
enchiladas, your quesadillas, your tacos, yeah, all that
Nachos.
stuff. Yeah.
But I think he's getting more specific. Like he's saying, like you can have tacos, but no enchiladas, no burritos, no nothing, no nachos. You get tacos, and that's
Wait,
it.
was it one specific cheese or is it cheese in general?
No, you get one cheese-based food.
Cheese-based food?
Yeah.
Food that incorporates cheese.
Yeah.
One specific entree that incorporates cheese.
Yeah, and nothing else you eat can have cheese associated with it ever again. That's a Sophie's choice, Phil.
I will pass.
Yeah, screw you, Phil.
Nobody vote Phil. That's what I'm saying. He's got bad
Phil's
intent.
getting voted off the island.
He's gonna
Like beer
take away our
cheese.
cheese.
Like beer cheese is real good for like your fries and pretzels. You know what I'm saying.
I know cheese is good. I love all cheeses equally and with much respect.
I like all cheeses equally.
No, that's not
Gruyere.
true.
I like Gruyere.
All yours.
How about some bacon smoked Gouda?
That sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
Some
Captain
cheese tastes like
Pancakes.
God.
Yeah, some cheeses are gross. Most of them come from Europe somewhere. Captain Pancake says, if you could customize yourself in real life like Cyberpunk, what would you change? Well, that dick slider would be awfully nice.
In real time. On command. For me, it'd be hair or skin tone. I'm criminally white, and no amount of sun changes it. I burn, I peel, and I'm the same shade of white. Sometimes I get tired of that, But other than that, different hairstyles don't look good on me. If I could really embrace something crazy like that, I would. I always get jealous of these people that they dye their hair and they do something really, really interesting and it looks fantastic. I'm like, I love that, but I also hate you because I look so bad. I do anything different. I look terrible.
I'm trying to think of like all the mods and stuff, like the eye that can scan stuff and like.
I mean, the legs that can double jump. That sounds pretty fun.
Double jumping legs would be cool. I don't know how often I'd use that though.
Just to impress all the neighborhood kids.
You're hanging lights on the
Go
roof?
to the basketball court and be like, sorry.
Dunking on everybody.
Blowing out some candles for your birthday with a double jump air gust.
Yes.
Be pretty good. All right, I'm sold on the double jump.
Oh man.
Never says, what's your favorite Pokemon card?
Pikachu.
Mudbutt.
Oh yeah, Sandick. That's my favorite.
I do have a Japanese Pikachu card, which I got when I was really young, and that was very exciting when I got it. So I'm going to say that one. That was pretty exciting.
I was always really happy with holographic Nidoking in Gen 1 because Nidoking was one of my favorites. So I was very excited about that. The first time I tried to trade for a holo Nidoking, I traded a non-holo Charizard to a friend of mine, and it was a day that I learned a hard lesson, and that's you never pay up front. Because the next day he brought me an Arcanine, and I was like, "You told me Nidoking," and he was like, "Sorry," and I was a pushover, and I hated him ever since. And I'll never forget your name, Derek. Screw you.
Yeah, fuck you, Derek.
That one and Greninja. I'm a huge Greninja fan.
Last question of the night.
Oh.
Dreadnought says, another pandemic has taken over 2021, but it's not the usual virus where it affects people's health. Instead, it's a cyber virus that harms electronic devices in different ways. The virus is named after your username. What does it do? And what's your proposed antivirus to combat it?
Wow. I guess mine's kind of the easiest one. You don't want 5,000 watts of anything going into any of your electronics.
Brian Circus.
Yeah, I keep my phone in my front pocket.
You don't want any virus that's pumping 5,000 watts into your computer, your phone, your TV. That would be really bad.
Yeah.
I don't know how to stop it. Maybe a katana would work.
Nice. Mine's gonna be, let's see, it's called the Tefty because username is usually Tefty of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to
massive electrical testicles.
Yes. No, I was gonna say you get beard growth out of the ports of your computer somehow. This is all fantasy. All right, so and
I can hardly keep that thing dusted. Imagine if it had hair growing out of it.
Yeah,
bummer. Sorry you got infected with the Tefty, man.
Yeah, me too.
You're gonna have to whip out the trimmers. You're gonna have to manscape.
What if I claim Triumph to get rid of the beard growth?
No, that's
every game I gotta go through a click.
That's how you get spiders.
Are spiders better than beard growth?
Well, you got beard growth and spiders now. So you got infestation and beard growth
spiders
everywhere.
in your beard.
Hard to move out. You leave that in.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave.
I'm burning this house down. The insurance company will understand.
Like, no, we get it. Yeah.
You had the Tefty. I understand. That's covered. I don't know what my username would make for a virus.
I like what Jaggeth put in chat.
What do you put? I'll read it.
Drunk and spill beer on it.
You start looking at your screen, starts getting all wobbly. You're like, uh-oh.
Like, oh,
I
it's the
know what's about
Briar.
to
Damn it.
You're Googling, what are the symptoms of Brian? Oh, no.
Moments before disaster.
Mine just makes all your devices covered in flannel and leak whiskey.
You walk in, your
Actually, a
tower.
flannel phone case. I could do a flannel phone case.
I like
That'd
this.
be nice.
It's covered in dang flannel.
I like that you wake up one day and your PC is completely covered in flannel. You're like, what the? Oh no, it's the T-Von.
TV, you should totally put on your like web store like a flannel phone case. That'd be great. It would stay in your pocket so securely too, like the flannel.
Oh, good grip. Yeah.
Never slip out.
Yeah.
And that's it. We have solved the world's problems, including Corona 21.
Congratulations, guys.
Including option 1 or 2. Now you know.
Yeah. Did we have was there an ultimate decision on option 1 or 2?
2.
It's 2 for sure, right?
I say 1 because you gotta have something to strive for.
Oh, 1 gives you something.
Growth potential.
Yeah.
Growth potential.
Literally. Some future, goals, right?
That's right.
Yeah. That's true.
You don't want to peak early,
That's right.
That's true.
God knows that's true.
Oh man. Well, that is episode number 218 of DCP Live. Thank you very much for watching, hanging out, and listening. Shout out to our Patreon members for supporting the show. Thank you guys. And shout out to our Twitch subs as well for the support. You're all amazing. TV, where can people find you? And what are you doing on the internet nowadays?
Yeah, one of the best ways to find me is just go to TrueVanguard.com. I got the URL. So I'll take you straight to where I live stream over on Facebook Gaming. Otherwise, very active on Twitter and on YouTube, True Vanguard. Or the True Vanguard, sorry.
Awesome.
Not any regular True Vanguard.
No, somebody else took it.
Probably Derek.
Yeah,
Freaking
probably.
Derek, man.
Derek, man.
I hope you're listening somewhere out there, Derek.
Where's my Pokemon card, Derek? You asshole. Yo, TV dropping gifted subs as well.
TV.
Oh.
I'm supposed to read those later.
Insane.
Thank you very much, TV. Briar Watts?
Both together in sync?
Yeah, it's
Okay, ready?
Yeah, ready.
On 3. 1, 2, 3. My name's Miss
I am Miss
5000 Watts. You can find me on Twitter at
Twitch,
Miss 5000
and
Watts.
YouTube at Miss 5000 Watts. We're using katana and slicing off head.
And is there
I think
option
Briar's
2?
Option 26.
Oh, wait. Is there that many for the female?
No.
Oh, okay. I was about to get super jealous.
It's the hair option.
Like, that's it. I'm remaking my character.
I am writing a letter.
Awesome.
I'm Briar Rabbit. You can find me at the Briar Rabbit on Twitter.
You find
Also,
me
I do
messing with
YouTube
my
videos
mister,
about weird stuff.
dealing with the mister. Probably.
I'm Tefty. You can talk to me at Teft on Twitter and catch my streams, twitch.tv/TeftyTeft, where I chose option number 2 on Cyberpunk. And I'll be playing it real soon. I think, actually. Maybe not. The whole DMCA thing coming down again.
I
Yeah.
all the music, and I play my own music.
Music's so cool.
I know. Or what you could do is just delete your VOD. You could just risk it, delete the
think that
VOD
works.
immediately.
Yeah, don't
People are
they
getting
have...
copyright strikes off
I
of
mean-
deleted VODs.
They might catch you live. It's a risk.
I hope
Gambling.
some stuff changes there in that capacity.
Yeah, hopefully we get a
Hopefully.
patch
Good
sometime
situation.
between now and tomorrow when I stream.
Hey, man, just come stream on Facebook instead.
There you go. There's no, yeah. All right. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Bye, everyone.
Bye.